causing a little bit of a backup through there, and people need to be going slower as they head out the door this morning because the ice, you really can't see it. Sometimes it's wet roads and then sometimes it is black ice. So that is a dangerous situation that we have going on through the metro and through a lot of the state as well. Be careful not only on the back roads and off ramps and on ramps that are typical problem spots, but also be safe on the major interstates because we've seen a lot of wrecks through there as well. I'll have more updates right here on News 9. Stay with us.
Hannah, thank you. I want to get out to our reporters who are monitoring road conditions, driving around. Let's go straight to Tevis Hillis. Tevis, where are you? How's it looking?
Hey, we're on I-240. We are heading eastbound, I believe. You know, we do see a lot more people on the roads this morning as rush hour has arrived. People are taking it very slow. You can tell these roads are a little bit more slick than other. Oh, we have a person just flying by right by us. A little bit more slick, especially if you're exiting or trying to get to another road. That's where the issues are. We're also seeing a lot of issues with those bridges as Precip did come down earlier this morning, freezing right on over. So, again, people are taking it slow. I want to talk about what OHP has been telling me. They say this last snowstorm, they saw the most accidents while people were distracted. That means they were trying to take photos of other accidents, trying to record it. Put your phone down, enjoy the ride, listen to the radio, put your phone on the side. That's what OHP wants you to know this morning. So we're just cruising on down, taking it slow. The roads aren't too swell, but, again, not too bad. And Oklahoma City, Tevis Hillis, Oklahoma Zone News 9.
Tevis, thanks so much. Let's get out to Caleb Califano in the metro. Caleb, good morning. How is it from your vantage point?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we are inside the city. We're on Penn, just south of the Kilpatrick Turnpike. This road's a little worse than the others. Pretty bumpy. People are taking it pretty slow here. We're starting to see a lot more traffic hit the roads as well. One of the big problems, though, with a place like Penn is you've got that construction site right there on the Penn and Memorial. That's going to be a problem already without any snow, and it's going to be even more problematic with these roads being really slick like they are. Really important thing here, stick with the snow routes across Oklahoma City. Those are much clearer, much better to drive on, much safer overall, especially as we start to see more traffic hit the roads this morning. But we will continue to drive around the metro, let you know what we see right here on city roads. We're live in Oklahoma City. Caleb Califano, Oklahoma Zone News 9.
Caleb, thank you so much. And if you're just waking up with us this morning, we've had several crashes throughout the day so far. Let's get over to Lacey Swope. Talk about that. Lace?
Yeah, Grayson put together this video for us, if we can show it, guys. And this is of the accidents that we had across the metro this morning, kind of a compilation. Now, this was earlier. These are not live. That accident was on I-35 and involved an OHP trooper. Some of the accidents that we have seen have been rollovers. Some of them have just been minor, where the vehicles have kind of gone too fast or hit a slick spot and gone off the road. Of course, our crew's out. That was one of our photojournalists there helping to kind of push out that driver, get them back on the road safely. In these conditions, wind chills are in the single digits and even near zero. So if you're going to be out and about and maybe you got to get out and push, just be prepared for these types of conditions. We have seen numerous accidents today, significant number compared to what we had yesterday. Yesterday, folks were driving nicely and we weren't having major issues, even though we had all of the sleet. Today, it's been freezing drizzle and freezing rain. We've also had some snow up into northern Oklahoma. Here's the view on Enid, or in Enid, from our Pike Pass Skycam network. Some sleet and some snow blanketing the roads, and neighborhood streets up in Enid are completely snow covered, and that extends back down into Kingfisher, back to El Reno, back to Clinton. Even Sayre had a dusting of snow overnight. Most of northwestern Oklahoma dry, may have some flurries, and skies are clear out in the Panhandle. The sunshine will prevail in western Oklahoma later today. In the meantime, we're in the thick of things. We're in the rush hour, so we're trying to bring you these updates and let you know what the conditions are like. I want to give you a radar view here of kind of the plains, southern Oklahoma, all the way down into Texas. This is that second wave of precip that is firming on up. There's still little snow flurries coming out from New Mexico and the Texas Panhandle, and there'll be a chance of flurries into the afternoon across Oklahoma, but it won't be anything as far as accumulation is concerned. On Storm Shield 9, sleet now from Holdenville to Ada to Stonewall down to Medill. We've had some freezing drizzle and even light snow overnight in southwestern Oklahoma. Now in the metro, our trackers are out, and this is what it looks like. We had that heavy freezing rain. It was heavy in pockets. Move over down into Creek County. It's up the Turner Turnpike. That's approaching Tulsa. In the meantime, freezing drizzle is still here. It has not ended, and it still won't end for a few more hours before we're completely dry. So here's the drizzle. It's a little heavier over Lake Thunderbird, down to Pink, back up to Twin Lakes, down to Noble. Jeromy Carter right there. We just talked to him, and yes, roadways slick and hazardous. Same thing with Hank and Moore and Brandon in downtown Oklahoma City. We've got freezing drizzle that's firming up again and becoming a little bit more intense. On Next Gen Live, you see those blues going to greens. That's where the precip rates are getting a little bit higher. So freezing drizzle moderate over El Reno. Back now, that's going to push into Piedmont, eventually Edmond once again, back up into Guthrie. And there's the sleet going on from Seminole with Wetumpka all the way down to Colgate, and that extends down to Lake Texoma. And this is going to continue up towards the northeast. We've had a little light snow in northern Oklahoma as well. That's starting to let up in intensity some. Temperatures this morning are in the teens, and they will warm today into the low 20s. So we've got about a 5-degree warm up that we're expected, maybe 5 to 10, depending on your location. The precip lets up in intensity and really starts to back off and become light. Wind chills will stay in the teens. Controller, we're going to go out to some of our trackers if we can. I do want to check in with Jeromy. Jeremy's been on the south side of the metro. Jeromy, your roadways are just still completely sleet packed. There's no change there from yesterday. It's not like roads just miraculously got better overnight. In fact, in many cases, they've got a little worse with the drizzle. Tell us where you are.
So I'm on the I-35, the east access road. Been kind of going up and down that. Really, unless it's been plowed, there's really going to be sleet on it, and quite a few slick spots to boot. I mean, you can travel. Man, best thing to do is just take it slow. No reason to get in an incident or have your car stuck in a ditch anywhere. Back to you, Lacey.
Yeah, just take your time. You can get out, you can travel, you can get traction. In fact, this is the view up on Brandon's shot of some of the highways, the interstates. Look at that, the sleet's been cleared. But Brandon, you still have some icing. I can even see it on your windshield. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, that's right. One big difference we've noticed as we've come all the way through the metro from west to east, and now we're headed back west, is, not to take it lightly, but the east side of the metro, the interstates are a lot wetter than what they are once you get west of downtown. There's a lot more ice on the west side, and we're back into a pretty heavy freezing drizzle. Back to you.
All right, Brandon, is that your tire that we're hearing? Got some ice on there or something? Or is that something else I'm hearing?
That's my windshield
Okay,
wiper.
because I'm just going to let you, I got to let you know, the anchors were really concerned that was your stomach. And I was like, I think it's something with his vehicle. I don't think he's that hungry on this cold Thursday morning. Guys, Brandon's okay. He's all good. We know. We'll be checking back in with our trackers and get an update on the roadways in just a minute.
You know we would be thinking about that,
Because
right?
we're hungry. It's the only reason. We're thinking about McDonald's. If you
Oh
can't
my
tell
gosh,
from
yeah.
the color
Brandon,
scheme.
just stop by and then bring us a little thing as you're cruising those metro roadways for us. Hey, we do want to take kind of just a look at all our cameras. We have so many. Also, our trackers out and about. And really, this is from our Pike Pass Skycam network. And you can see in different areas, visibility a little different in some areas. Just buckle up, drive safely out there. And definitely slow down because it might look deceiving like the roads are cleared. And guess what? There's some black ice out there that will greet you this Thursday morning.
Troopers saying that a lot of people having way too much confidence on the road, going the speed limit in some locations. Go half that, they're saying, if not slower, please. Don't want to add to the number of crashes we've already had. That's a look across the metro, across central Oklahoma. More coverage right after this. Stay with us.
It's
think it was just maybe real low and moving, lifting up off of it, not popping up on your radar till a few miles down the road. kind of off a little bit. Yeah, I drove over there and looked at the lake yesterday for a second. There was steam pouring off of it. Hey, Lacey, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I pulled into a Sonic here shortly, would it? I don't want to be that guy when they go to my stream and I'm like, got a car hop coming to me. So we can do that. We can wait. I don't know about that. I might die. I love Sonic. We're gonna be doing this till noon, probably. I don't know, man.
Cleared, and then we had a batch of freezing rain move through, which caused black ice on roadways, and sometimes it's wet, but sometimes it's black ice. So you just need to be extra careful headed out the door this morning. We've seen a lot of people going too fast, and then that causes accidents. Let's take a little look around the metro at those roadways. This is our Pike Pass Skycam network showing our Regency cam. We still have a lot of sleet on roads downtown, and back roads are going to be a similar story. At our OCCC cam, it's pretty misty. We're seeing some fog through there, and we also are seeing I-44 moving along just fine. I think people still driving a little bit too fast. Pike Pass showing SSM Health Cam, I-40 and Douglas. Still a good bit of sleet on roadways through there, and also off ramps and on ramps. Definitely going to be problem spots as well. Broadway extension, people are driving again a little bit too fast because there is patchy black ice on roadways, and you can't really tell where that is. So emergency crews are reporting a lot of more accidents today than we had yesterday, because I think people are just being a little bit less careful. I'll have more updates back here right on News 9.
Hannah, thank you so much. Want to get to the latest as far as the timeline, what to expect for this Thursday. If you've lost track of where we are in the week because of all this winter weather, Jed's going to fill us in. Jed, when are we clearing things out?
Come on now,
I think having David Payne in here screwed everything up.
I don't blame him.
What time is it? What's going on?
Coming in hot, right?
He did a great job yesterday. We appreciate him coming in and filling in, getting us up to date on this winter storm as it moved in. This is where we're at right now. We're on the back side of this winter storm. Precipitation is light. You look outside, it doesn't look terribly bad, but it's kind of insidious. It's kind of deceptive here this morning. We've had that drizzle kind of form in. You know, if you move the sleet out of the way at all yesterday, there's a glaze of ice now on the ground. So there's an opportunity for some slips and falls if you are stepping on something that doesn't have that sleet on top of it. Sleet, typically you're able to step on top of it and you're doing okay. And that may also be the case on the roads as well, because a lot of the main roads, the pavement's been cleared out, and then we have this glaze and light ice moving on top of that. And we've been dealing with accidents in spots here this morning. So let's check in with our trackers who are diligent this morning, continuing to go out. And these guys are doing a great job this morning. We'll start you with Brandon. Brandon, you're on the southwest sides of Oklahoma City. You've been seeing accidents at times. Other times, it's not too bad. Let's get an update here as folks go through this 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah, Jed, we're back out in the west side on I-40 now. And one difference that from, an hour to an hour and a half ago is the crews have got a lot more sand on I-40 now. So it's not near as slick as what it was. But that doesn't mean, get back up to highway speed, because, you transition over to an overpass or a bridge and it'll still be a sheet of ice. Back to you.
Okay, let's go to Jeromy. Jeromy, good morning to you. Let's get an update.
Yeah, Jed. So I'm northbound on 35. You can see here we still got some freezing drizzle falling. And, man, some of these cars are really clipping along, Jed, at a good speed. You can get traction, you can travel, but that's how we get caught off guard. The best thing to do is slow it down, pay attention. Back to you, Jed.
Yeah, it's going to be those untreated roads and roads that haven't been well traveled that are going to be a glaze of ice. So you got to watch it there. And it'll sneak up on you, so make sure you're reducing those speeds here this morning, like Jeromy and Brandon have been saying. Let's check in with Hank. Hank, you've been out there this morning as well. You've been having a few good roadways. Are you noticing any problems out there?
Yeah, Jed, I'm out by the airport right now on I-44, and we continue with kind of a moderate drizzle that's icing up the windshield. And like Hannah said earlier, it's a mixed bag from wet roads to salt and sand and sleet, which isn't too bad, to black ice. So problems I've seen on the highways is people are going too fast. They're hitting these patches of black ice, and then they hit dry again, and they're all crossed up, and they hit walls and each other. So slow down, take your time, be patient. Back to you.
A lot of times those exit and on ramps can be really hazardous. Are you noticing those treated? Are those doing okay this morning?
When I got onto I-240 a few minutes ago, that on-ramp was very slick. So, yeah. Just like normal, on-ramps and off-ramps, that traffic speed them down, they're icy.
All right, very good. So there we go. There's the trackers here this morning. Let's check out the radar views this morning. We'll continue with this very light precip that's continuing to fall. Had wave kind of number one for today. This is the whole second wave. We're talking about the wave that just came through. It's now moving to the east. Here's wave number two. That's going to be moving through, and that'll be more than likely the final round as the system starts to pull on out. But it is light. You see that precip there? That's in the form of some drizzle. There might also be a little snow out of this. Been noticing a little action up here in northern Oklahoma. Some light snow there from near Cherokee to Enid to Kingfisher, back up to near Ponca City. So you may get a little light dusting there. As we look at southwest Oklahoma, still some light drizzle continues, but it's really let up. Not as quite as impressive as it was earlier. And then over here in the eastern side of the state, we'll talk about that here coming up in just a moment. Real quick on the metro area, as you see that light precipitation continuing. Again, it's just a light drizzle that continues here around the metro. As we look further to the south, that continues across Oklahoma City. May change over on the west sides to a little bit of light snow. The general trend is going to be a light winter mix before it comes to an end. Some sleet. See these higher bands, these brighter bands of precip? That a lot of times is sleet, and that's us shoving over into east Oklahoma near Holtonville, down to near Colgate and Atoka. The big view, this final wave kind of swinging up across. You see the precip starting to develop there. That'll keep swinging on through and moving on by, and conditions will be improving this morning. Okay, again, a lot of the roads right now, the main interstates, they're pretty good. They're slick in spots, and then you got to deal, like I said, with those patches of ice. That's going to be your main issues here this morning. Your secondary roads still a mess. Central, southwest, and east parts of Oklahoma. That precip really starts to wind down between 9 and noon this morning. Maybe a few flurries this afternoon, but not expecting a whole lot of precip accumulating there. Slick spots through the afternoon with clearing skies, and then we'll track some freezing pipes possible overnight tonight as these cold temperatures bottom out in the single digits. 17, wind chill at 6. If you get outside, you get stuck in this, you're going to be stuck in some really tough conditions. So make sure you're prepared for that. Dress warmly and have some food and some water with you if you do get stuck. There's the precip sliding on out, begins to push on out with clearing developing in west Oklahoma about lunchtime today. That clearing line will shove into Oklahoma City about 6 o'clock this evening. So maybe a brief sunshine, or at least a a prettier sunset as it develops here this evening before skies clear on out here overnight tonight. So watching that glaze, that'll be around here this morning. That's what you got to watch out for. It doesn't seem like much, but so many times that glaze can cause so many problems. Watch it, slips and falls always can happen in these kind of conditions as well. Again, the heavy sleet over in east parts of Oklahoma, and again, some of that light snow traced maybe up to dusting in those areas shaded in white. So this precip scooting on out, maybe a patch to some light snow flurries for a while this afternoon. That's going to scoot on out as well as we go through the day as that clearing begins to form on up. Teens, 20s, mid-20s possible, but right now low to mid-20s are the story. Again, we're watching a cold forecast. That'll take you through Saturday, but watch the change there from Saturday into Sunday. We start that warming trend by the 1st of March. We'll be in the 60s, approaching 70, and should be up in the 70s next week for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I think we're all excited about that. Guys, back to you.
All right, Jed, thank you so much. As we check different cameras throughout the morning on your road conditions, do want to bring in Brenda Perry-Clark with ODOT as we're looking at some of the road conditions here. Brenda, good morning to you. What are your crews seeing right now?
Well, we do have, like you guys have mentioned, this, freezing precipitation that is still falling in a lot of areas, and it's causing a thin layer of ice on top of what already was there. So, we really want people to realize that even when they are seeing highways that do have some clear lanes, already in place, we need them to be extremely cautious still. The low temps and the additional precipitation, it is going to take us some time to fully clear all of these highways, and so they just need to be very cautious if they do have to be out.
Brenda, I thought that Trooper Foster made such a good point that's really kind of worth reiterating about things that people need in their car. He said there are folks not even dressed appropriately to be out in these elements, and if you get, kind of sidetracked in a wreck or something, you really could be in trouble.
Yes, it is very scary with the low temperatures, and we're not quite used to having low temps for this long, and so people do need to plan if they have to be out in it, that if they do get stuck. I mean, that is very scary. And if people do have the options to delay their travel, or appointments, we really recommend this at this time.
Brenda, any advice for our viewers who are just waking up, maybe deciding whether or not they need to run those errands or get out on the roads today? Your advice?
If they do have options of staying in, that's what we recommend. We do have a free Drive Oklahoma app that has a lot of resources that they can check out.
All right, Brenda Perry-Clark with ODOT. We really appreciate you joining us and just helping keep viewers informed and safe this morning. Thanks. Another big story we're following this morning. That is the sound of sirens going off at dawn. A Russian attack on Ukraine. Russian forces moving in overnight, bombing parts of Ukraine's capital city. The Associated Press reports at least 40 people have been killed so far. That number is a low estimate. Take a listen to some of the attacks and video coming in. We do know President Biden is expected to issue more sanctions on Russia later today. The G7 is meeting. The president is expected to address the nation very soon. Oklahoma U.S. Senator Jim Inhofe is calling the attacks unprecedented, unwarranted, and unprovoked. The invasion has sent all U.S. stock markets tumbling. In fact, I'm watching the futures that are trading this morning. They're down 800. The market will open at 8:30 Oklahoma time. Crude oil, meanwhile, has surged above $100 for the first time since 2014. Keep it here. We'll continue following the story as it develops from Russia and back here at home. This winter weather. We're back after a short break.
This news brought to you by your Oklahoma City Hyundai dealers. See your
said, the Mustang Road and Highway 4. If I was going to guess, I would say at 152, just south of 152 on Highway 4 at that intersection, right there at 89, that's where most of the wrecks are. Right, there's a big bridge there. It was Butch from the news desk that called me, so yeah, I don't know where he got it from. You were at I-40 in Mustang Road, right?
Conditions seem to be worse as far as the roads. We're seeing a lot of crashes today compared to what we saw yesterday.
Let's get out to our Jordan Daphnis. She is monitoring roadways for us. Jordan, where are you, and how's it looking where you are?
We're on I-40 westbound. We just passed Tinker Air Force Base, heading by the car dealerships right now. And this area has a lot of construction, and so it's always kind of an area that you want to slow down and be careful. But especially with the icy conditions this morning. So we've had to pull over, you guys, several times to get ice off of our windshield. When we stop our windshield wipers, the ice starts to accumulate. I can actually kind of even see it accumulating right now because there's just like this very cold mist heading over. So that's something to be aware of. And then the ice on the roadways is something to be aware of as well. We're not seeing any accidents right now, but we have passed several abandoned vehicles, and earlier we saw some cars that sped off the road. So just be careful this morning as you're heading out. For now, live this morning, Jordan Daphnis, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Jordan, thank you. I want to get straight over to Lacey Swope for the latest on this wave number 2, Lace.
All right, we got our team of trackers out once again this morning. Yes, reporting the same things that you guys are saying. Many more accidents today versus yesterday because we've had more freezing drizzle and freezing rain. That makes travel a lot tougher than sleet. And the freezing drizzle still coming down. The windshield wipers are still going with all of our trackers. Do want to first go out to Brandon Pennell. Brandon's headed down to the Mustang area for a possible accident there. Brandon, still, we're socked in with the cloud cover. Precip is coming down. How's the road that you're on? Where exactly are you?
Lacey, we're on Mustang Road coming up on 44th, and you can see this, even though it looks plowed, this is still a lot of ice in between, the sleet pack. So, and the freezing drizzle continues to come down. So it's still pretty slick and hazardous, especially off of the main interstates. Back to you.
State there for folks that are trying to get to the interstates, to the main thoroughfares. That is what your drive will look like. You can see folks are out, they're traveling. You can get out and travel about, but you definitely can't go the speed limit, or you shouldn't be going the speed limit this morning. Let's now go further to the east to Hank and Patti Brown. Hank, you've seen numerous accidents this morning as well. I can see there that you're on the southwest side. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, this is actually Northwest Expressway. I just got off by Integris Hospital. And, one thing that I've noticed is this freezing drizzle is hung around. It also looks like the cloud deck is lowering. There's almost a freezing fog around. So it's kind of a mixed bag, everything from wet to sleet covered to icy patches in the road. So like Brandon said, just, slow down and take it easy. all the accidents I've seen have been on the highway so far this morning. Back to you.
All right, great update there. That's kind of what Hank was seeing yesterday, too. Hank was in the freezing fog near the airport yesterday morning. This morning, the winds are much calmer, and so that is definitely going to allow that cloud deck to come a little bit lower and could still have more of that freezing fog. I don't think it's going to become too incredibly widespread, but it just adds to the layer of icing that we're seeing. And man, Highway 3, not very good, that's for sure, especially that turn lane there. Let's go back now to the maps. Let me show you the current conditions. Roads are slick and hazardous across the metro, all the way up to Enid now, Ponca City, Hobart, back to Sayre, south sides of Beckham County, down into southern Oklahoma, and back to the east. There you can see a little bit more of that fog. Here, this is kind of like I-44 and near Kelly, and you can see the interstate there. Folks are traveling. You can travel, but there are patches of ice. We had anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of sleet yesterday, and those sleet mounds really piled up where it was coming through your gutters like rain and stacking up. Some places a couple of feet high, and in some areas when you're getting on your on and off ramps, that sleet has piled up as well, and it's pretty deep, so low profile vehicles may have some issues. The precip is coming down with wave number 2. We've been tracking freezing drizzle since midnight. Sleet is ongoing off towards the east, and then zooming into the metro, here's the freezing drizzle. It is picking up in intensity over the west sides of Edmond up to Kingfisher, coming into Guthrie. Moderate freezing drizzle now again over El Reno, and it's light all the way over to Shawnee, to Tecumseh and Meeker. And this is going to move right back up near Guthrie and eventually Stillwater, giving you another thin coat of ice. This is sleet from Wetumpka to Holdenville down to Stewart, and at times some pockets of freezing rain mixed in, little light freezing drizzle, and a little light snow still ongoing up to the north. So roads are slick and hazardous. We are kind of on the back edge now of this storm system, Jed, and a lot of folks are wondering, when does it end?
Yeah, what's that little freezing fog, that right, Les?
Yeah, combine it all.
There's your fog visibilities right now. Not low enough yet for freezing fog, but the fog has thickened up a little bit here in central Oklahoma as that drizzle continues to fall. I think saturating a bit, and that's allowing for some of that fog with those lighter winds starting off this morning. Nothing too thick, but we're watching it like Hank had mentioned, fog kind of picking up. This is a live view from our downtown cam. Still, the cloud deck is still above the skyscrapers, but you can't see the visibilities are lower as that cloud deck is right close to the tops of those buildings. Probably the Devon Tower is in the clouds. And again, with this cloud cover, that drizzle is falling. 17 right now. North winds at 10. That wind chill, boy, it's just brutal this morning. 5 degrees. Let's find out when this precip comes to an end. This is your forecast at 8 o'clock. A lot of the data has that precip started to shove a little bit east of Oklahoma City, and it's going to be an East Oklahoma and South Oklahoma show. That'll gradually wind down by lunchtime today as the storm system starts to pull on out. Clearing begins in West Oklahoma, and that'll keep shoving into central Oklahoma by about 6 o'clock today. So make it a brief little sun before that sun sets, and we'll have clearing skies overnight tonight over most of Oklahoma, setting up what should be a very cold night tonight. So there's still that glaze around. You step outside, if you've had a chance to clear off that sleet at all off your driveway or off your sidewalk, there's going to be a glaze. You're going to step out on that, and it's a high opportunity for some slips and falls. So be careful there, because that glaze is the story this morning causing those accidents across Oklahoma. Sleet shifting into East Oklahoma. There is some bands of sleet forming up here. Could pick up an additional 1/10, 2/10, maybe up to a half an inch. That's going to keep shoving on out this morning, and some light snow also can form up as this band starts to move across Oklahoma. Again, the freezing rain, sleet, and snow will be winding down this morning. Still a few patches of light snow. Upper level storm starts to pull away this afternoon, and some clearing out in the western parts of the state. We're in the teens. We'll gradually make it in the 20s, but not going to warm a lot. It's just going to be another frigid forecast here coming up for today. Fortunately, the winds are a little lighter this morning. We're in the teens right now over most of Oklahoma, so the winds, although they are lighter, they're still dropping those wind chills in some spots close to 0 right now. Northwest Oklahoma close to 0. Here in central Oklahoma, we're about 5, maybe 10 degrees. So you get stuck out in these conditions at all, okay? So for whatever reason, you get stuck out in it, make sure you are prepared. Make sure you got a little winter kit, blanket, extra layers of clothes, have some food to eat, and then have some water to drink, because if you were to slide off the road, it'll take probably a while to get that figured out, and you're going to get cold. So make sure you're prepared for that. Frigid out there. And that frigid air extends from the Gulf Coast all the way up to Canada. Minus 16 in Bismarck. There are some areas that are warmer. You got to go to the far southeast part of the country. That front can just slide down that way. We'll hover in the teens for a while here this morning, gradually getting back up in the 20s this afternoon. And as we go into tonight, it's going to bottom out probably in the upper single digits for a while. By 8 o'clock, we're back in the teens. And as we go toward tomorrow, another cold day, northeast winds, Arctic air, just tough to move out with this sleet in place. And then we keep it cold into Saturday as we start in the 20s, gradually getting back up into near freezing for many spots by Saturday afternoon. Here is your forecast. 23 today, 28 for Friday, and then 35 on Saturday. Look at the jump from Saturday into Sunday. Still cold in the morning, Sunday morning, but 54, 62, 66 by the first day of March, and then we'll be in the 70s heading into next week. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
If there's one thing we can count on,
trying to see, this snow is packed. It's not like the fun stuff that we had when we had our last snow event. This is sleet that's frozen over, and everything's completely flat. You can't pick it up, you can't play with it, you can't make a snowman, anything like that. It's just solid ice. So that is what you're gonna deal with when you step out the door. For Now Live this morning, Jordan Daphnis, Oklahoma's Own, News 9.
Temperature so cold almost takes your breath away. Jordan, we appreciate your reporting this morning. Let's get over to Lacey at the wall, talk about where we stand. 7:51 on a Thursday morning. Lacey.
Guys, the freezing drizzle continues, and at times it's moderate freezing drizzle. We're getting a layer that we've been talking about all morning of ice in areas where the roadways have been cleared. It's also sticking to the sleet-covered roadways and making them extra crunchy this morning. You can see a little fog kind of limiting visibility across many locations across central, northern, even southern Oklahoma, and that could just add those fine little water droplets to additional icing on the roadways. You can see traffic on I-44 is traveling. You can get out, you can travel, and really through the afternoon, roadways will start to improve. All right, let's go out to Brandon Pennell. Brandon, you're on a rollover accident there. Tell us where you are and what's going on in your shot.
All right, Lacey, this is Highway 4 northbound at just on the north side of Mustang Road. And as you can see in the shot, there's a pickup truck that's had a rollover, probably due to, I'm going to guess a little bit higher, too much of a high speed. It's on a pretty elevated area too. So, the black ice, what we've been talking about all morning, probably just hit a patch and tried to overcorrect. And, this is the result. Fire and police are on the scene, and there's an ambulance arriving as we speak. Back to you.
Okay, hoping that the driver and any passengers are okay there. We'll check back in with Hannah Scholl here in just a minute on that accident and that location of what's going on there. Thank you so much, Brandon, for bringing that update. You can see a little bit of drizzle there still coming down. Let's go to Jeromy Carter. Jeromy, you're kind of headed to the north sides of the area. Your roads look excellent. Give us an update for folks that are thinking, hey, I can go highway speeds.
Yeah, and they're, Lacey, they're wet. So if you take a look at them, just because they look good don't necessarily, and just because you could drive 70 don't mean you should. There are patches of black ice really on, and we need to look anywhere in the metro. It's cold enough, and with the drizzle, just count them as slick and hazardous. Back to you.
Absolutely. You definitely should not be going 65, 70, 75 miles per hour in these conditions, because it takes just one patch of ice, which is there. I promise you, all the interstates have patchy black ice on them. You hit that going interstate speeds, and your accident and the collision that you're about to deal with is going to be significant. So just take your time, get out, go slow. You can travel fine. 2 lanes are cleared there, or at least looking to be cleared there. Definitely not sleet packed anymore. Let's talk about radar, and let me show you the view of what's going on. So wave number 1 was yesterday. That was all the sleet. Now this round has been mainly freezing drizzle and freezing rain for the metro. There has been snow in western and northern Oklahoma. There's still a little snow coming out over the panhandle. That'll bring us a chance for a few flurries. That will be about it. And that's kind of the last round of the system. Heavy freezing rain from Dallas all the way down to Austin, and this continues to spread up over areas that are south and east of I-44. That's where the majority of wave number 2 will have its impacts heading into the afternoon. There goes the sleet off towards the east and some freezing rain. And then you look here in the metro, and we're going to turn on Next Gen Live and look at the drizzle from Hera to Shawnee down to Norman, and it's a little bit heavier over Guthrie back down to Tuttle and Amber. Our team of trackers have seen more accidents today than what they had yesterday by far, due to the additional icing that we've picked up overnight and this morning. Now, it looks like it's letting up in intensity some as this drizzle is coming over Edmond, the Village, all the way down to Mustang. You're going to need the ice scraper this morning. You're going to need to scrape that off your windshield for sure. Locations have anywhere from a glaze, some locations up to 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain has fallen overnight. Guthrie getting another glaze of ice back up to Crescent. That'll head up towards Stillwater. And here goes the heavier freezing rain, now getting lightning and thunder heading up over Eufaula, Lake Eufaula. Temperatures are in the teens, so this is all sticking as freezing rain and sleet in pockets. Now, we have had a little bit of drizzle in northern Oklahoma, still adding to the icing problems, and some snow mixing in as well. Here's the current view on our SSM Health Cam. Well, that was the current view. 17 degrees and north winds. You can see I-40, again, 1-2 lanes have been cleared of the sleet. Watch for the black ice. On and off ramps, though, still sleet packed. Temperatures are in the teens and low 20s, and the wind chills will stay in the teens all day, even though our winds are so much lighter. Yesterday, those winds made it absolutely brutal, dangerously cold. Today, the winds are lighter, they're weaker, but the wind chill's still a factor because that Arctic air is in place. So overnight, we had freezing rain and freezing drizzle, adding an additional layer of ice. Now through noon, some freezing drizzle and some very light snow in Oklahoma City. We may still have some flurries flying heading into the early afternoon. Roads will still be slick, but we will see improvements to the roads today, especially the main thoroughfares. And then tonight, skies will completely clear out. And as they do, we'll have the potential for pipe bursting conditions. Futurecast showing the precip making its way to the east through mid-morning, clearing skies, sunshine in western Oklahoma. We'll check back in with our crews and have much more winter weather coverage coming up after this.
Is your refrigerator making funny noises, or maybe the washer isn't getting the clothes clean?
Doing fine.
But the problem overnight is we had drizzle, at times heavy drizzle, a mist. All that has created a glaze on top of everything. So from your windshield to the ground, it is all iced over. And so folks are out driving on it. They see these open lanes that the Department of Transportation has cleared out. They've done a great job doing that, but that glaze has fallen on top of that, and we're getting more problems. And sometimes when that happens, you get issues like this. Let's check with Brandon, who's out there. Brandon, those roads still slick, but are they more slick in spots, or are you having more icy areas?
You know, Jed, it just depends on where you're at in the metro, actually. I know that sounds crazy with it being 15 degrees, but really it's just hit and miss. Some areas are super slick, and then some areas are more wet, and then it transitions to slick in spots. This is an accident here at Highway 4, just north of Mustang Road. One thing Sammy and I were just talking about, though, is it's pretty evident that whoever was driving this vehicle probably was not going at an excessive amount of speed just because of the embankment that they're on. You know, so even accidents do happen while you're trying to take precautions out here. That's how slick it is. You know, if he'd have been going at a high rate of speed, I would imagine that the vehicle would be a lot further down that embankment. That just goes to show you in spots how slick it is out here, even if you're going the right speed on these roads. Back to you. What a great
update. Good job there, Brandon. That's exactly right. So slow it down, and slow it down even more if you still think you're going too fast. Let's go to Hank right now, and also Jeromy. We're going to talk to them. Hank, good morning to you. You're in the Oklahoma City area right now. What's the latest updates on the roads around Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Jed, I'm out by the airport on I-44, and really it's kind of a mixed bag, like Brandon said. Everything from some wet roads to sleet-covered to clear. With some icy patches in them. So for the most part, traffic is getting around pretty well, pretty smooth. You know, one of the problems I've seen on the highways, people are traveling 50 or 60 because the highway is mostly clear. Then when they come onto an off-ramp or a transition to the other roads, it might be sleet, it might be icy, and then there's slide off. So I-44, I've seen 4 cars slid off in about the last 15 minutes, Jed. Back to you. Okay, that's a great update there. So slow it down. Boy, we have what looks like some decent roads, but that's not the case with that glaze that formed here overnight. We've moved Jeromy a little further up to the north. He's now up in the Edmond area. It looks like he's on the Broadway extension just north of 33rd. Right there near the Burger King and Hobby Lobby right there. Let's get an update. Jeromy, good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, Jets, take a look. This is Broadway, and when you're coming in off of the Broadway extension, there are cleared roads, and yes, people are driving extremely fast. Here, it's pretty much still got sleet on the roads, but the main thing is people have got to slow down. The high rate of speed is the biggest problem when you got a potential for black ice. Jed, back to you.
Okay, there you go. You know, if you have a brand new 16-year-old, if you have a son or daughter that just turned 16, I would recommend you drive them around today. Do not let them out on the roads because there are some tricky conditions and you're not 100% sure if they're not going to keep it down. I know you want to hold back the reins on that and make sure they're protected. We recommend your brand new drivers staying off these type conditions we have out there right now. Let's check the view on radar. Here's the broad view. This is taking you back over the last 6 hours. Just don't see a whole lot. Then it starts to expand. This is that next round coming in. It's really getting its act together now on the east sides of the state. We actually have thunderstorms going on over near McAllister right now as thunder sleet is shifting on to the east as this next storm system starts to move on out. Anything to the west is very light in the form of some light snow or some drizzle that does continue. Let's check it out here on the view from our radar here. You can see the precip continuing in and around the Oklahoma City area. The heavier precip now forming up over on the east sides. And so the worst conditions as far as the heaviest laden precip is going to be over here where there'll be sleet and some freezing rain, maybe a little snow mixed in the eastern sides of the state. There is a little snow right now. This is looking at the advanced radar up in northwest Oklahoma. You see some light snow forming up there. You may get a little additional dusting out of this, but the trend will be this is going to gradually start fizzling out. Southwest Oklahoma, still a little light snow or some freezing drizzle continues for you. And as we look at southeast Oklahoma here, those thunderstorms starting to pop up now near McAllister, Lake Eufaula, shoving to the east about 40 miles per hour. So right there along Highway 69, 75 in far east Oklahoma, that's shoving on eastward, and that's where the majority of precip is going to fall. Most of what we have here around the metro, just that light freezing drizzle. That's what we have around the metro. So we continue with that glaze falling on top of that sleet and those roads that have been cleared out. So just watch it this morning. Still kind of icy there from Guthrie through Oklahoma City, on down to the south. You see Brandon, and that's about where he's at. We'll talk to Hannah here in just a moment. She'll get an update on that wreck there in Mustang. Okay, road conditions still tough across central East Oklahoma. You made some of your main thoroughfares a little bit improved, but again, you got that ice that's formed overnight. That'll cause some traffic issues there. Light mix will come to an end this morning. It's still going to be slick. We'll see clearing skies late. We'll have slick spots during the afternoon, slick spots overnight tonight, and drip your faucets because our morning lows will bottom out in the single digits. Slight chance of precip on Saturday. Just kind of a cloudy, gray, drizzly mess out there at 17 degrees. Everything is sticking on contact. Wind chill right now at 5. So cold start this morning. Here's the storm moving off to the east, and by afternoon, much of the precip is over with, and our skies will clear. By late afternoon on in the evening, we'll have some clearing skies setting up that very cold weather here overnight tonight. So teens, 20s on the way for tonight. Today, as that light winter mix comes to an end, and then a warming trend keeps going from the 20s into the 30s. We'll jump into the 50s on Sunday. 60s are soon on the way. Get into March, we'll be talking some 70s. Big improvement showing up later next week.
Man, can't wait for that.
We still got to get through this morning, though, and your morning drive. Here's Hannah Scholl with the update right now at 8:06. Hannah?
Well, roads are slick and hazardous. We've seen more accidents today than we saw yesterday. And this shot right here is from our tracker, Brandon Pennell. And he is in Mustang right now. Brandon, tell us where you are and what exactly happened there.
Yeah, so we're at Highway 4, just north of Mustang Road in the north. This is northbound. And, you know, I'm just assuming that probably some black ice, or this is a pretty elevated area. You know, you can see that embankment, and just lost control and spun out. The good news is that EMS and fire have left the scene, and there are some people walking around. So I'm assuming it must be a non-injury because the ambulance left with no lights on. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon. And we also have another area that is moving very slowly in, it's on Lake Hefner Parkway, just south of 122nd Street. We did have a shot of that, but this is where it is on the map. It's red through there. We haven't had an accident reported, but people are investigating to see what exactly is going on there. And then also here on the map is where that one spot is that Brandon was at just now. The single car rollover crash, which luckily I think is a non-injury accident through there in Mustang. But through the metro, we're really seeing slick and hazardous roadways because a layer of ice after that freezing rain moved through, and we saw an increase in accidents once that happened as well. We're not going to have any melting, at least currently. We're at 21 degrees in Oklahoma City, 18 in El Reno, 16 in Weatherford. But heading into the afternoon, once that sunshine gets in, warms up these roadways, we're expecting by around 3 p.m. we're at 43 degrees on the roads. We'll start to see some improvement in roadways at that point before everything refreezes overnight tonight once we drop back below that freezing mark. So because of that, we're expecting slick and hazardous roads through the entire area in purple. We have sleet and ice covered roadways. Be especially careful on those off ramps and on ramps and the back roads as well. But the major highways have also had a lot of problems today as well. Stay with us here on News 9. We'll keep you advised.
Hannah, thank you so much. We'll check in with you in just a moment. Now we want to talk to Oklahoma Highway Patrol.
Trooper Foster on the line with us again. Trooper Foster, good morning. How are motorists doing across the highways right now?
Well, our call volumes are much higher this morning than they were yesterday, and it is because of that drizzle that's, you know, on the roadway. So people are kind of driving a little bit too confidently, you know, because they did so well yesterday. And so we're seeing a lot of single vehicle off the roadway calls is the majority of what we're responding to.
Yeah, we're at a Highway 4 and Mustang Road crash right now involving just that, a one vehicle crash. Earlier, Trooper, you guys had one of your troopers involved in an accident. Explain what happened and kind of the issue with other drivers in related to that crash.
Well, I mean, you know, we did. We had a trooper that was struck. He was off the roadway and positioned his patrol car to protect that scene. That's what we do with our patrol cars. We use them to protect other people that are on that roadway. And in doing so, you know, traffic obviously is going to slow down because there's flashing lights like they should, things like that. But a lot of times, you know, it causes other traffic to pay attention to something else or whatever. And sometimes, you know, especially on this ice, when they come up to that patrol car and then they try to evasive steer or anything like that, if they weren't paying attention, then, you know, they slide into us. And so we see that every kind of weather storm, we see it. And we're grateful to say that the trooper wasn't in his vehicle. And so he's okay.
Good.
But we see it quite often. You know, when you see those lights, you've got to move over as safely as can.
Yeah, I think the big story this morning is people are just driving way too fast out there, and it's really catching them off guard.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's just confidence level. They're a little overconfident.
Yeah.
Slow down just a little bit, but do the other little things too. Don't be distracted. Don't have your cell phone out filming a trooper on the side of the road. You know, that can be dangerous for you. And then have your seatbelt on. These slow single vehicle crashes where they roll, if you're not contained inside that passenger compartment, you know, you can be really critically injured, something that was very survivable. So those are our messages.
More calls today. Trooper, we hope that you guys stay safe. Thanks for everything that you do, and thanks for talking to us this morning.
And no problem.
All right, we want to get back to our coverage of our crews that are out and about. We bring in Jennifer Pierce. Good morning here in the 8 o'clock hour. JP, where are you, and how are the roads?
Good morning, Robin and Lacey. Right now, we are just passing the state fairgrounds. We are on May Avenue, headed northbound, so we're right around the intersection of May and 10th. And we've just been kind of going up and down May just to see what it's like. And as you can see right now, there are areas where the road is completely covered with that ice, sleet mixture. But you can see on our windshield that it's really not drizzling much right now, just very, very light drizzle. You could also tell that this is a snow route for Oklahoma City because it has that brownish tint to it where they have put down the salt and the sand. It's a good thing to remember those snow routes on days like this. But as we got further, when we were south, a lot of the roads were clear, but as we drive further north, the roads are more compacted with what the sleet and snow from yesterday. But you can see on this 4-lane road, there's at least one lane where you can drive down where the tires have gone over and over. Not a whole lot of traffic out this morning, and people are taking it pretty slow. Again, Oklahoma City Police, they are only responding to injury accidents, so we're not sure how many non-injury accidents are there. But as you mentioned, the accident out on Mustang Road, that was one that Oklahoma City Police did respond to. And we are reporting live in northwest Oklahoma City. Jennifer Pierce, Oklahoma's own, News 9.
Jennifer, thank you. Now I want to go to Tevis Hillis. She's live on the northwest side. Tevis, where are you exactly, and how are things looking?
Well, Robin and Lacey, we're on Lake Hefner Parkway heading northbound. There are so many people that have been pulling over to clean their windshields. They're just icing over and people cannot see. So that's the issue right now. I want to let you all know we are headed towards a wreck. It's Lake Hefner Parkway and Hefner Road. We should be pulling up on it shortly. We do have to take our time, though, just because these roads are pretty slick as that precip comes down and re-slicks that road right on over. I've been out here since 4 a.m. 4 a.m. was a different story. The roads look much cleaner. Now you can see that the precip coming down is causing some issues for people, especially on their windshields. Let me see if we can get closer to the wreck before I toss it back to you all. People are taking it slow. I want to talk about these on and off ramps. That's another big issue that is causing some people some headaches. If you have a lower car, that is hard to get on and off. But right now, people are taking it pretty slow. Doesn't look like too many backups. Let me just see if we can get a little bit closer to this wreck. If not, I'll toss it back to you all, and you can toss back to me when we get there. Robin and Lacey.
Tevis, exactly where is that wreck? You said on Hefner Parkway, and what was the other cross street there?
Hefner Road. So we should be pulling up soon.
I think it's just south of you.
Yeah, I think you're going north, and Hefner Road's behind you. So just kind of a heads up as you are heading northbound there on the Hefner Parkway. We'll continue following it, though, and you guys are doing a great job. Thanks so much for keeping us up to date. You're looking live. That's Hefner Parkway. We'll continue our coverage here on that winter weather. Keep it here on News 9.
Want to be healthier? It's
this coat you got, bud?
Yeah.
Just in case you get in a wreck today out there. That's a good coat.
Is it pretty bad where I work is?
He scared himself. He went to go around the corner and he accidentally bonked it and it scared me.
It is funny. Edmund did a good job of sanding their roads. This is second. Just past Boulevard. It's not too bad, but it's not good.
Yeah, Jed, that's right. This was a single car accident, a rollover, due to the icy conditions, but it is in the cleanup stage, and I'm pretty sure no injuries. Fire and EMS have left the scene. Back to you.
What can happen if you go out this morning, make sure you are slowing down your speeds this morning. Let's check in with the metro area. Hank Brown near Will Rogers right now, right there along I-44. Let's get an update from you.
Yeah, Jed, we continue with freezing drizzle this morning, and that's just kind of adding another element of surprise to the roadways. But mostly they're sleet covered. The highways are in pretty good shape. I mean, they're passable, but there are some patches of black ice. And right here is an on-ramp, and even though you can see it's been treated, it's pretty slushy with sleet and pretty slick. If you come off the highway at 60, 70 miles an hour and you hit an off-ramp that's like this, that's where you're going to have problems. Back to you, Jed.
It's like you're in Little Sahara with that much sand on it right there. Okay, let's go over to Jeromy. He's up in the Edmond area. You've been watching Edmond this morning over the last 30 minutes, Jeromy. Let's get an update.
Yeah, so this kind of tells you what Edmond's all about. You got some sleet on the roads, and of course we got the freezing drizzle falling. Yeah, most of these roads we can get around on, but definitely pay attention for black ice. Back to you.
Okay, very good. So we do saw that drizzle kind of hanging around. It's just continuing to fall, and so it's going to continue to ice things over. Glaze continues here this morning. Let's check out the big view, and we can see much of the precip getting going off to our east. You can see wave number 2 really forming up now across East Oklahoma. This is going to be where they'll have more of the problems over in East Oklahoma. Our problems have been so far more limited, but anytime you talk about ice, even though they may be limited, they're still big problems if you run into them. So we're seeing that drizzle still hanging around the central part of the state right now. Further to the north, we still have some patches of snow, so a little light snow flurries up in northwest Oklahoma and southwest Oklahoma. Still some patches of drizzle there. But things are starting to calm down more in the western part of the state. More of our problems are over here in the east from McAllister. A few thunderstorms here. This is causing some sleet, so that's all tracking away. Here in the metro area, again, that light drizzle continues from the north sides, Guthrie, Meridian, and through Edmond. And that drizzle continues on to the south, and that's going to be the story here out the door this morning. We need some improvements, and hopefully we'll get some soon. Let's check in with Lacey on that.
Ooh, there'll be sunshine coming up later today for folks in western Oklahoma. We already have some sunshine peeking through in the Panhandle and in the Northwest, and we may even see some sunshine just before sunset in Oklahoma City. That's what's coming up. In the meantime, we're still in the thick of things with the drizzle, with temperatures in the teens, sticking to everything. Tevis was saying right now, drivers are still having problems in the metro with their windshields icing up. Windshield wipers and their icing in their car can't, the de-icer in their car can't keep up. They're having to pull over and scrape their windshield. And hey, that led to another layer of just danger this morning. So use caution. Leave this morning and plenty of time that you can go slow overnight and through the early morning hours. We had heavy freezing drizzle. So those main interstates that have been cleared off from the sleet now have some patches of ice on them. Of course, your front step and your windshield glazed over with ice. Coming up for now through noon, the drizzle is going to become lighter and lighter. Right now, we've got some moderate drizzle moving through the metro, and eventually some light snow is possible, but it looks to be more of the flurry variety, and we may have kind of those spitting flurries once again heading into the afternoon. Roads will still be slick, especially the secondary roadways, but they will start to improve greatly heading into the afternoon. We'll stay below freezing, and in fact, tonight with clear skies and all this sleet around, single-digit temperatures are expected overnight tonight. We've been below freezing, I think now 55 hours. I'll have to do my math there. We got below freezing at 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and we've been below freezing ever since. We're now to 17. We've warmed a couple degrees this morning. The wind chill is still 4. Temperatures today warm into the low 20s, and the wind chill will warm into the teens later this afternoon. The heaviest precip already pushing basically along Highway 69, Highway 75 in eastern Oklahoma and to the east, but it's light behind it, light freezing drizzle, light flurries, and then skies start to clear out as we head into the evening. Additional ice now through the end of this event, just that very light, thin glaze across central, northern, southern Oklahoma. Data still suggesting portions of the southeast from Fort Smith to McAllister, Clayton down to Hugo could have 1/4 of an inch up to 1/2 of an inch in pockets there in LaFleur County. Sleet, if this transitions to sleet here in the next couple of hours, we may get a trace. I don't think we're going to add much more. Eastern Oklahoma, though, where those thunderstorms are ongoing, a quick 1/10 to 2/10 to maybe even pockets of up to 1/2 of an inch there of sleet. Snow, a trace is expected on top of what we've already got on the ground. You're not really going to notice that. Temperatures in the teens, winds out of the north 15 to 25, and it feels like the single digits. Wind chills are still below 0 in our Panhandle. So this morning it's light precip pushing off to the east and heavier. Sunshine returns out west this afternoon, and highs will climb into the lower mid upper 20s and some 30s to the west. Tonight, single digits on the way. Pipe bursting conditions. It's going to be brutally cold, but tomorrow, guys, sunny skies. Back to you.
Man, I can't wait, Lace. Thank you.
All right, we are continuing our coverage, and here is Hannah Scholes stepping on in, seeing how we're doing here. Almost 8:30. Hannah, still more wrecks out there?
Yes, we do have some wrecks to talk about. Let's take Brandon's shot currently. And this is what we've been looking at in Mustang at Highway 4 and Mustang Road, a rollover accident that is being cleaned up now. Emergency crews were there, but they're no longer on the scene, so it's just in the cleanup phase of that process. But we've seen a lot of this from our trackers. Rollovers, people getting stuck, spinning off of roadways as well. So there's a layer of ice on roads, and you can't see it, but it is making travel slick and hazardous through the metro today. Let's go now to the map where we can see exactly where this was. It's Mustang Road and Highway 4 headed northbound there. We also have a couple other accidents reported through the metro. Hefner Parkway southbound, an injury accident was reported at Hefner Road. We're sending a crew to investigate that. And then also another one, I-44 westbound. The off-ramp is partially blocked at exit 123. That's where you start to go north towards Lake Hefner Parkway. And so those are two things that are happening through the metro. A lot of other things have been reported by our reporters because people are just spinning off, and of course those don't show up on the map. But let's take a look at road conditions through the metro. This is our SSM health cam showing I-40 in Douglas. People are really kind of flying. They're going business as usual, and then if you hit a patch of ice, it's makes your day a little bit worse after that. You can spin off the road. American Fidelity cam showing Broadway extension is looking good there. And then our Mathis Brothers cam, I-40 and I-44. People are looking like they're moving a little bit slower on that cam, so that is good news through there. But as we head into the afternoon hours, we'll start to see some melting as road temperatures get above freezing. Then roads will start to improve, but for now we are monitoring them because they're still pretty dangerous. I'll have more back here in a little bit.
Hannah, thank you. And just a reminder, Oklahoma City Police only responding to crashes that involve injuries. If it's a non-injury crash, they say take pictures, swap information if another car is involved, and deal with that later. So crashes involving injury only, that's when you'll see an Oklahoma City police officer. Want to get out to our crews in the field? Let's go to Brittany Toulis. Brittany, where are you? How's it looking?
Hi guys, I am at I-35 and 19th Street here in Moore, and right now the roads on the way out here were not too terrible. We stuck on I-35 and the highways are pretty clear, although we did see someone pull over to scrape their windshield because this freezing drizzle. It's very light, but when you're driving it is kind of freezing pretty quickly, so make sure you keep your wipers going. Now, like I said, the highways are clear, but these on and off ramps behind me are a little more packed, and that 19th Street bridge over to my right is also a little, since it's a bridge, it's going to ice over a little more, and we did see one car kind of swerve a little bit, but the bridge is a little, and we can see some crews kind of clearing these on and off ramps right now as we talk. They're pushing that, and you can see all of that buildup that's kind of packed down on these on and off ramps. That's why you really have to slow down, especially if you are exiting a ramp, because you're exiting highway speeds. You really want to pump those brakes so you're not hitting these kind of iced over, packed over ramps. And also, like I said, these highway roads are a little clearer, but it's almost harder to walk on this, because I'm going to point you guys down really quickly, and you can see this is kind of a sheet of ice almost. I can like skate on it. If I had little blades, you can see me skating around because it's pretty slick. So if you have to walk anywhere on your sidewalks or anything, make sure you are taking your time because it's going to hurt if you fall down on this. And I'm going to send this back to you guys at the desk. We're going to keep aware to see what's going on, but as of right now, it's pretty clear out here in Moore. For now, live in Moore, Brittany Toulis, Oklahoma's Own News 9.
Brittany, thank you so much. I want to go now to Erica Lee. Erica, where are you and how's it looking?
Hey, good morning. I'm at the I-40 ramp, off-ramp eastbound. I just want to show you a little bit of what's going on in the roads. I want to reiterate what Trooper Foster was saying, is that people have been driving a little too confidently this morning. The highways are clear and people are going 50 to 60, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't slow down because we are getting more single vehicle off the roadway calls. So please slow down, be cautious, keep your seatbelt on, and if you see lights, please move over. And we're getting more calls than we were yesterday. And I know that we keep saying this over and over, but please be careful on the roads. We are seeing more vehicles going faster on the highways. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
That's Erica Lee reporting from the Midwest City, Del City area on I-40. Okay, a lot of folks having to pull over to defrost their windshields because their defroster can't do it alone. So that's kind of the story right now. Back with more winter weather coverage next.
The big mattress event is on at Galleria Furniture and Mattress Outlet with big savings on a big selection of mattresses. Now save $400 on a 13-inch Queen Euro Top mattress, just $599. Galleria has...
Oh, my dad was bald when he was 30. He's probably bald at 25, really. So when he was bald, slick bald when I was 5 years old. Far back as I can remember, he was bald. lot slicker than it looks, isn't it? Candace, crowd, they all kept their hair, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, Miss Williams older than we are by quite a bit, probably 10 years.
I think he's probably 12, 13 years older than us.
My great grandpa, my little grandma's husband, he was, whenever he died, he still had a head full of hair. He was way older than she was. He was like married 13-year-old when he was 30. And I didn't ever know him, but I mean, I remember him a little bit. But he had a head of hair, and so he was probably 70 when he died. His ex probably got a head the same. Maybe.
Yeah, he probably did. I mean, I haven't started losing my hair until the last few years.
That's true. Jake's like less than 2 years. He's like 41. Almost 42.
And we'll stay out. Brandon's been on that accident there on Mustang Road. Brandon, they got the tow trucks now. Looks like they're about to get that thing cleared up. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, that's right. You know, luckily it looks like it's a non-injury accident. They're in the cleanup stages right now, just fixing to flip it over and pull it up and clean it up. But, you know, the freezing drizzle still continues, still isolated, icy areas. So just give yourself plenty of space and plenty of time. Back to you.
Hey, thanks so much, Brandon. About to clear that accident. The freezing drizzle has been coming down the metro for about 8.5 hours, by the way. So we've got a good glaze of ice on the windshields, on some of the roadways, just depending on your location, and also, of course, the trees, the power lines, and your front step. But the winds are light this morning. That's a good thing. Let's go to Hank Brown. Hank's been on the city streets here in OKC. And Hank, you're traveling along okay. It looks pretty bumpy, though, with those sleet ruts going on. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, I'm on Southwest 29th Street, kind of got off the main highways a little bit. You can see it's still sleet covered, and yeah, like you say, it's been rutted up and it's glazed over and it's been refrozen, and so it's kind of a rough ride. But overall, you can get around the metro. Just use common sense and abundance of caution. Back to you.
Absolutely. And if you can stay indoors and you don't have to get out in this, that's obviously a great option. If this type of thing kind of freaks you out and makes you a little panicky, which driving in the icy conditions is not fun for anyone, I don't think. But if that's the case and you can just avoid it for a little bit, we will see improvement as we go through the day today. Let's go further up north now. Jeromy and Ramie Carter have been kind of in the Edmond area. Jeromy, you were in Edmond yesterday. How are the roads kind of comparing for folks waking up and about to head out on this Thursday?
Well, Lacey, the sleet is not as deep, but you can see here, this is Santa Fe and 158th Street, and these ruts, the road is glazed. So main thing is take it slow. You get where you need to go. You can get around as long as you don't try to go fast. Back to you.
Okay, great update there. I just have to point out, Robin and Lacey were just telling me right here in Jeremy's windshield shot, it looks it's a chip in his windshield or something on his windshield. They both thought it was a dog about to be hit by oncoming traffic. So I just want to let you guys know, anyone at home, there's no animals being harmed in the making of this video. Okay, his windshield got a crack in it. Jeromy, that's probably a chip. It does. It looks like something in the other lane. Jeremy's like, what are you guys talking about? I can't see it. All right. we're all good, okay? Animals are fine and safe this morning. The drizzle is coming down on his windshield, though, and that will continue for at least the next couple of hours. As I mentioned, it's been going on for 8+ hours, and at times it was freezing rain. Now, these are the sleet totals. We've had anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of sleet with wave number 1, and so that's the issue. Then we've had a little snow overnight as well, northern Oklahoma. Enid still getting some snow flurries. You can see on our Enid cam, blanket of sleet and snow. Very tough travel up in Grant and Garfield counties. And then on our Cowboy Hall of Fame cam, I-44, traffic is traveling just fine as long as you're taking it slow. You can get where you need to go, and you can see a little bit of fog forming up there as the winds are so very light with all the moisture around. Here goes the second wave. Now, the heaviest precip was moving now from Tulsa down to Hugo to the east. The precip extends all the way down to Austin, though, and this will continue to be a winter storm for states off to our east. Little light snow's been trying to make its way through the Panhandle, and if we look down from space, there's sunshine in the Texas Panhandle. Little snow flurry action coming through, and where we have convection or thunderstorms off to the east, you can see that in those taller clouds, and that's really the back edge of the energy that is scooting out. Behind it, we've got thick, low cloud cover, but that will erode away. Western Oklahoma, you'll have sunshine here coming up after lunchtime. It's a little patchy drizzle, nothing as heavy as it was in southwestern Oklahoma. Drizzle still ongoing here in Oklahoma City, but eventually that cloud deck will start to lift some, and this will come to an end. But for now, still falling on your windshield, still need your wipers, your ice scraper through the next couple of hours, and you can see the drizzle continuing all the way up. It actually extends up into Stillwater. Thunderstorms from Tahlequah, Muskogee, Eufaula, Shakota, all the way down to Clayton, and this is heavy freezing rain and also some sleet mixing on it. It extends really all the way down to Hugo. A little bit of freezing drizzle still up to the north, a few flurries mixing in there. So roadways are slick and hazardous for all the counties in purple, and that will continue. So here's the metro timeline. Heavy freezing drizzle will start to let up. It becomes light now through noon. A few snow flurries possible. And then as we head into the afternoon, we may have a few flurries coming out of that thick cloud deck, and still a few slick spots on the roads for sure. And that sleet that's piled up, some of the areas 1 to 2 inches, or even drifts several foot high, that's going to be around for a long time, and we'll go through this kind of melting and then refreezing process. Tonight, clear skies, and our temperatures will drop like a rock overnight. We will have the teens right now, but it will fall into the single digits overnight. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast as you plan out the rest of your day. Precip winding down, temperatures warming into the low 20s. Our wind chills will be in the teens. As we go through the day today, of course, our trackers are staying out. We'll have an update on how much additional ice and sleet coming up. Back to you guys at the desk.
Lace, thanks.
All right, glad we got that situation with that windshield figured out.
I had a viewer say the same thing. I thought it was a dog trying to cross the road.
Okay, all right. We're glad everything's good. They're hoping everything is good on the roads as well. Here's Hannah Scholl with the update. Hannah, good morning.
Good morning to you guys.
There she is. Okay.
Yeah, there I am. Hello. This is a live look outside our Bike Fast Guy Cam network, our Norman regional cam showing I-35, and roads are fine as long as you are being careful and safe, because there is a layer of ice in some spots. There's been a couple accidents reported, and even more than that, lots of multiple spin-offs, cars getting stuck, and this was a rollover accident that Brandon is at. It's at Mustang Road and Highway 4. It's in the cleanup phase, and there's only a small backup because of that. Another accident reported I-44 westbound. The off-ramp is partially blocked at exit 123. That's when you head up north towards Lake Hefner Parkway. And that other accident that I was reporting on at Hefner Road and Lake Hefner Parkway, that turned out to be nothing. Our crews got there. But we actually don't have any real slowdowns or major injury accidents through the metro. So people are doing a pretty good job of driving safely. I think one of the trends is people do need to slow down. Your road temperatures, though, are still well below freezing, so we're not going to see any melting quite yet. We're at 22 degrees in Oklahoma City, 22 in Norman as well, 21 in Guthrie, and 21 in Kingfisher. But once that sun comes out, we'll start to see some clearing later this afternoon, and the sun's really going to do its work on these road temperatures. We're going to be at 41 degrees coming into the afternoon hours. That's at 4 p.m., 40 and more, 38 in Norman. So we'll start to see some melting of those roadways, and we'll get some improvement there. But then keep in mind later tonight, once those roadways melt, we'll see them refreeze rise again as temperatures again drop into the teens overnight tonight and into tomorrow. So snow and ice covered roads, or rather sleet covered roadways, especially those off ramps, on ramps, back roads. That's what you really need to be looking out for. And again, slow down as you head out the door. Some of these areas in blue, mostly just slick spots, but the black ice has been a problem. We saw an increase in accidents after that round of freezing rain moved through the metro, and we're still seeing quite a few accidents and people getting stuck as well because of that black ice. So everyone, just be careful, slow down, don't text and drive, all that. We'll have updates right here. Back to y'all.
Hannah, thank you.
All right, let's see how Tevis Hillis is doing out on the roadways right now. Tevis, where are you? How's it looking?
Well, OHP's on it looks like a car had to pull over. There's some situation happening right now. OHP is on southbound Lake Hefner Parkway to East I-44. You can see it right there. Now, they're helping someone that swerved out of the lane. It's icy on these roads, especially on these on and off ramps. You can see the car that swerved from the other lane. Now, what we're seeing right now on this Lake Hefner Parkway especially is people having to pull over because of their windshields. Their windshields are completely icing over. Their car heaters just can't function as quickly as that freezing mist is coming down and freezing right on over. So the story here, take it slow. There's no rush to get to work today. Everyone understands that there is ice on the roadways, but again, we are on the southbound lake of Lake Hefner Parkway to East I-44. You can see that someone spun out, and OHP is on scene helping. It looks like there's no injury, but again, they're helping out right now. Robin and Lacey.
Tevis Hillis reporting live from Lake Hefner Parkway. Want to check out I-35 now? Let's go to Jordan Daphnis. She's driving around for us. Jordan, where exactly are you? How's it looking?
We just hopped on I-35 from 240. We're heading towards the metro area, passing Valley Brook right now toward 44th Street. And what we're seeing is traffic is picking up this morning. We're starting to have people kind of hitting their brakes. They're slowing down a little bit. So that's something drivers need to be aware of. This is where it's really slick. I think you can see the camera shows it pretty well. It's a little, there's some, it's pretty clear, but then there's a little bit of sludginess, and that can also cause you to kind of slip, and it can add to the slickness. And then I can see, like, in the right-hand lane, some water coming up. And even this truck in front of me, I can see some water coming up from his tires. So because of that, these roads are going to be more slick. That can be dangerous. We have seen some cars spin, pulled over because they've spun out this morning. And then also you're seeing Steven is keeps on adding some wiper fluid to his windshield in an effort to try to keep it from freezing over, because we ourselves have had to pull over several times because of a freezing windshield. So all of those factors are things you're going to want to think of as you head out the door this morning. For now, live, Jordan Daphnis, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
Jordan, thanks so much for that update. We appreciate it very much. You guys have been sending in some great pics here to News 9. You can do so, pics at news9.net. As we go to break, we'll take a look at some of those. Oh, look at the animals out there. Even had time to play some soccer. And then remember when all that sleet came down yesterday morning?
It was like salt falling off the roofs all over town. Look at this. Is there a dog in this picture? Oh, it's adorable. He's posing.
Oh, beautiful pictures. The birds trying to stay warm, huddling together.
Good idea to put some extra bird feed out if you have those bird feeders, because they're burning a lot of energy trying to keep warm.
Oh, and picture perfect. Look at one of the snowflakes that came down. We are loving your pictures. Thanks so much for sending them. And yep, got to think about those farmers and ranchers. They're still out taking care of business today. And the Longhorns, well, we'll worry about them later.
Back after this.
The big mattress event.
Are there any more real cowboys left out in these hills? What you looking at there?
Truck and Jeep accessories.
Duck squad. Duck squads. Oh, yeah, we're going to sleep like babies again today. We're trying.
Talking to our trackers here just a moment ago, just wanting to see how they're doing there. They've been, boy, busy on the roads yesterday, busy on the roads out the door this morning. Let's start you off with Jeromy. Jeremy's been in the Edmond area, now northwest Oklahoma City. What's going on there, Jeromy? How are the roads and how are folks doing out there this early morning?
You know, things are moving along pretty good, Jed. The roads really are real similar to the way they were this morning. Patches of ice, areas of slush. You got to get out, take it slow. You'll get where you need to go, and back to you.
It's slow. That's been the advice of the morning here. Make sure your windshield is cleaned off as well. If you park your car outside, it has that kind of icy glaze on it. Get all that off because that drizzle, that could collect on it and make it more difficult to see if you can't get your car heated up quick enough. So make sure to remember to clean off your windshield and slow it down. Let's head down to the Oklahoma City area where we have Hank Brown. Hank, you've been traveling the metro area roads as well. We also have Brandon as well. Let's go ahead and check in with Hank Brown now. As you see, he's on the roads this morning. Hank, let's get an update from you. How are we doing there in central Oklahoma?
Yeah, Jed. So this is Reno coming into downtown, and you can see it's kind of a sleet, sand, salt, slush. Been not too bad of shape. Travel, you can get around. It's not too bad. The highways are the only place I've seen any wrecks this morning, and I think it's just drivers have a little more confidence in the road because it appears dry, and then they hit a patch that's black ice. I haven't really seen any wrecks or problems on the city streets. Everybody's just kind of taking it slow and cautious. Back to you.
Okay, that's a great report there. Let's go to Brandon. He's been down in the Mustang area, had a little accident down that way. Brandon, how are you doing, sir? How are you hanging in there? You've had a long morning.
Yeah, Jed, that's right. We're good though. A lot better than some. You know, we're taking it slow on the roads, and you know, there's still a lot of patchy places of ice, especially on the secondary roads. So, you know, if you just give yourself a little bit of extra time, 5-10 minutes, slow it down 10, 15, 20 miles an hour on the main roads, and you'll be A-okay. Back to you.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll keep getting that improvement. You guys have done a fantastic job. Thank you all for being out there and letting people know what those roads look like. Appreciate you guys being part of our team. We love it. Hey, let's check out the conditions across the country. Here's the storm. You can see travel advisories from central, now southern Texas, extending up through parts of Oklahoma. Warnings run from North Texas, southeast Oklahoma, over into Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, and Kentucky. As the storm kind of gets its act together now, watch the motion here over the last 6 hours. The precip really enhancing across east Oklahoma, and that's shoving on over into Arkansas and Missouri. So if we're doing any traveling, watch it. I-44 northeast up into Missouri, I-40 eastbound over into Arkansas, and then I-35 south, where you're going to have most of your problems here coming up today. If you're traveling northbound, not as bad of conditions there. You'll probably run into a few slick spots getting out of the Oklahoma City area or out of the state. But right now, central, south, and east parts of Oklahoma is where most of our problems have been here early this morning. Kind of zooming in on radar, that's that drizzle that just continues to fall this morning. Kind of waiting for that transition over to some light snow. Has really yet to do it, but that's a possibility here this morning before it starts to scoot on out. You see kind of the back edge of this now from Kingfisher over to near El Reno. As we go through the 9 o'clock hour, that'll keep shoving east. And I think much of the precip will be coming to an end. Still a little light snow or some flurries up here in the north, so we're going to keep it on. Maybe a few passing flurries today in southwest Oklahoma. Still a patch or two of some drizzle there. Most of the action, though, shoving off to the east from I-40 over now east of Henrietta near Lake Eufaula south. We've had a few thunderstorms here, so that sleet, heavy sleet going on for a while with some of those heavier storms now shoving into far east Oklahoma. Here in the metro, like I said, it's been a kind of just a drizzly mess here this morning, making just an icy glaze over everything. That drizzle does continue. Next Gen Live continues to show that drizzle, but it's becoming more faint now. You can see the conditions there, south Logan County, North Oklahoma County, South Oklahoma County, down into parts of Cleveland and McLean counties. That drizzle, it does continue. So we're going to still see some problems here this morning with those slicks and covered roads covering most of the roads. But as you saw from our trackers, a lot of the roads now are starting to show some signs of improvement. Once that drizzle comes to an end, with the help of traction, we'll start to see more improvement going into the afternoon hours today. So slick roads with the light mix coming to an end. Clearing later this afternoon. Slick spots continue through the afternoon. Drip your faucets tonight because it's going to get really cold. There'll be some slick spots around, and then a cold forecast on Saturday. 30% chance of a little precip. We'll talk more about that here in just a little bit. 17, gray out there. A little fog starting off this morning. North winds and wind chill at 4. Here's the precip shoving off to the east. We go through the 9 o'clock hour. As we go into the afternoon period, much of the precip comes to an end. There may be a passing flurry for a while into the afternoon, but that shoves off the east. No additional precip expected to fall, cause problems. As we go into late today, skies will clear out, and we'll see clearing skies here overnight tonight, and we're in for what should be hopefully improving conditions heading into your Friday. A glaze continues here this morning. Heaviest icing in far east Oklahoma, where that's where the sleet will fall. As we check out snowfall, there'll be a little light amount, trace maybe up to a dusting in the areas shaded in white, and we'll see that precip start to scoot on out with just, again, a passing snow flurry or snow shower not out of the question through northeast Oklahoma. Teens warming in the 20s. Not going to warm much at all, but the trend will. Watch the trend. 20s, 30s, and then 50s on Sunday. 60s on Monday, 66 by March 1st, and right after that, we're heading into the 70s. Springtime air is on the way. But we got to get through that winter weather first here today. Lacey, we'll have a full update here coming up at 9.
Nice. We're looking forward to those 60s and 70s, Jed, but for now, we have slick and hazardous roads and sleet-covered roads as well. I-35 is moving along fine. We don't have any major accidents reported, but roads are still slick, so we need people to be extra careful headed out the door this morning. Again, no major accidents, though, so that is all good news. Everyone just needs to slow down. I'll have more back here in a little bit.
Hannah, thank you. I want to show you some viewer photos. You guys have been great sending us those at pics@news9.net. Want to share some as we go to break of all of the winter weather from yesterday into today.
Where the sleet was pouring down yesterday, the animals are happy to have fun in the snow, and we'd love your pics. Pics@news9.net.
Oh, these old eyeballs are crossing now. I'll pull over here and grab me a soda in the back.
Eyeballs across.
Oh yeah, they are. They are. Man, I wish I had a handle over here like you do over there. 'Cause I'm always about to bust my can getting out of this truck.
Really? I'm surprised you don't. That's kind of weird. They usually have mine.
On a Thursday morning, you're watching News 9 at 9, and what a morning it has been. We say good morning. We've been in extended coverage since 4 a.m. I'm Robin Marsh.
I'm Lacey Lowry. Want to get straight over to Lacey Swope. And Lace, the roads have been pretty bad for drivers this morning.
We've had a significant number of wrecks, especially when you compare it to yesterday when the precip was so much heavier. But today it was the type that was the problem. These are the accidents from earlier this morning that our crews came up on. The issue was it was freezing drizzle and freezing rain, so it was ice. And it was very, very slippery on most of the roadways, at least in patches. You would come across a patch of black ice, and we had some pretty serious accidents as well. Have not heard of any major injuries as far as I know. Of course, we'll check in with Hannah coming up. As far as the current conditions and road conditions, we're still reporting slick and hazardous across much of the state of Oklahoma. I do want to start off first by going out to our storm trackers and give you an update of what they're seeing as they're driving around. Let's first go to Brandon Pennell. Brandon, you've topped down into Cleveland County now, and the roadways, especially the secondary roadways, well, they look like they did when you went to bed last night. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, Lacey, that's right. You know, we had a little bit more freezing drizzle this morning, and actually in this part of the city, we've had a little light dusting of snow this morning too. So, you know, it's a little prettier than it was, but roads are still slick, especially the secondary and less traveled. Back to you.
Yeah, for earlier this morning, it was, thanks to Brandon, we had about 4:45, I believe it was. We had a little bit of what looked like lake effect snow coming off of Lake Hefner in about a half of a mile to a mile wide band that did extend all the way down to the portions there of Cleveland County and the western sides of Mustang, or eastern sides of Mustang, I should say. Let's go now a little further north and go up to Hank Brown. Hank, you're around the downtown area. For folks that are maybe traveling, heading to downtown, what should they expect?
Yeah, Lacey, this is Main Street. You can see that it's pretty well sleet packed and it's got a bit of a glaze on it. You can't even see the top of the Devon building, though, as we continue with this light drizzle and this fog or this cloud deck that is really lowered. So it's kind of just a hazy, cold, foggy morning out here, Lacey. Back to you.
Well, yes, on the raw morning, that's for sure. But you can see the vehicles there. They are getting along. You can travel. You can get out and get where you're going. And as long as you go slow, you shouldn't have any major issues. Just be aware that the drizzle that's falling and hitting your windshield is also hitting the roadways and could become some black ice. Road conditions across the state of Oklahoma, slick and hazardous from Enid to Ponca to Stillwater, Kingfisher, Hobart, still slick spots all the way down to Sayre. And this extends into south central Oklahoma, Pauls Valley, Ada, all the way back to the east. Now, looking at the big picture here on satellite imagery, the blue line there, of course, the state of Oklahoma, Oklahoma City under this very low cloud deck, the convection, the thunderstorms and heavy freezing rain and sleet is now to the east. That's kind of the back edge of wave number 2, and skies will start to clear in the west and northwest. Little light snow may get some flurries on the back side of the system as the drizzle starts to let up, and it's still ongoing all across central, and this will be going into East Texas through the day today. Still the drizzle showing up on Next Gen Live, but it is light, especially compared to what it was earlier this morning. We had moderate freezing rain for a while, and this has been ongoing since about midnight, but it's much, much lighter now, and the cloud deck will continue to raise. The sun will continue, even though we'll stay cloudy, the sun will go to work and help to do some melting on those main roadways. Off to the east, heavy thunderstorms from Tahlequah, Salisaw, Wilburton down to Clayton over Lake Eufaula. That's freezing rain with pockets of sleet, falling in temperatures in the teens. We still have some freezing drizzle and a little light snow up north. So here's what to expect for the rest of your Thursday. Just know that overnight the freezing drizzle and the rain has come down. Your front step and your windshield will be icy this morning. Now through noon, very light drizzle that turns into some light snow and flurries into the afternoon. And then tonight, guys, we completely clear it out and temperatures will really drop off. Single digits, really cold, pipe bursting conditions will be possible. As the back edge of the system continues to work its way to the east, skies will begin to clear in western Oklahoma. When we see sunshine in the metro, I'll have that coming up. Talk about a wintry mix on the way for your Saturday, and then there's 70s on that 9-day. That's coming up.
Lacey, thanks so much. Our reporters have been out and about, and we're checking in with more crews right now.
Let's talk to Mike Glover. Mike, where are you? How's it looking?
They're on us.
We're on you,
Mike, we're on you.
There you are.
Well, we're out on I-35 and Southwest 19th and more. Yeah, travel is deceptive. That's the thing that ODOT wants you to know, is you can be driving and it looks like clear roads, and then next thing you know, you'll hit a patch of ice. So slow down, take your speeds very cautiously, because the roads are deceptive. They look clear, but then they're not clear. Also, if you're at home and you want to check the roads, download the Drive Oklahoma app. It's a very handy tool. You can see all the cameras and the ice scrapers, the roads, everything. So download that app. It's a very helpful tool when you're out and about on the roads today. We are out here and the ground is deceptive. It looks like it's snow and it's soft, but it's actually really hard. It's almost like hard as ice. So I can imagine the crews that are going through cleaning off the roads are having a hard time with that this morning. But we're having fun out here. It's cold, but we're surviving, guys. And more, I'm Mike Glover for Oklahoma's own News 9.
Oh,
the
Mike,
eternal
good to see your
optimist. We love him.
Yeah.
All right, looking good, big guy.
Go get your big jacket on. Let's go over to Hannah Scholl. She's watching the roads for us as well. Hey, Hannah.
Yeah, well, deceptive is a great word for roads currently. We've had that freezing drizzle, freezing rain all morning long, so patches of ice are definitely a problem through the metro. This is I-35. It's looking good as far as movement goes. People are moving fine. We don't have a lot of congestion congestion, but still a lot of slick spots. OCCC showing I-44. We're looking good there as well. I-40 and Douglas on our SSM Health Cam also is fine. And our downtown roads are pretty covered in sleet. It's packed sleet at this point with some ice on top of that. So just headed out the door, you're going to want to be extra careful. We haven't had any major accidents that cause a whole lot of congestion and injuries. It's just been a lot of those smaller accidents, rollovers, people getting stuck, people hitting barriers and things like that. So definitely be extra careful, slow those speeds down, and don't be texting and driving. The only major accident we had was very late last night / early this morning on I-44, but that has been cleared. We'll see some melting later this afternoon and evening, and then things will start to improve at that point. I'll have more back here a little bit.
Hannah, thank you. I want to check out this incredible mess on an Oklahoma highway. The big box of video that you're seeing right there, drivers stuck for hours. That's northbound Highway 69 between McAllister and Eufaula yesterday. Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers tell us that was the worst congestion that they dealt with all day.
Yeah, they had been there for a while, too. Troopers say semis got stuck because their brake lines started freezing up. The traffic came to a halt about 2:30 and really did not get moving along until nearly 9 o'clock last night.
Now to the latest on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. This morning, the president of Ukraine calling all citizens who are ready to defend the country against Russia to please come forward, and the country will arm those civilians.
Yeah, he says that Kyiv will issue weapons again to any civilian who feels comfortable handling a weapon. All of this after Russia launched an all-out invasion into the country. Explosions have gone off across Ukraine from land and air. It's about 6:10 in the evening right now in Ukraine. At this point, we know 40 people have died. We are watching this story as it develops. It is the big breaking news on the international front, and the world is watching. Metro Tech, East Central, and Cameron universities are canceling classes today.
OCCC, OSU's Oklahoma City campus, and Langston University all moving classes online. School closures and delays are all scrolling at the bottom of your screen. We also have them listed entirely at news9.com. One of our viewers making this sign to describe all the winter weather that we have had recently. And another thing on this frigid weather coming up.
All right, taking a live look at our trackers. They are all out and about. News 9 and the state's largest tracking team, keeping you safe and informed on this Thursday morning. Back after this.
Is your refrigerator making funny noises, or maybe the washer isn't getting the clothes clean? At Hot Appliance Warehouse, we up.
Boy, them guys are pushing through that line. Weather. Come on, let's get moving there, feller. How many miles are we from Interstate 44?
We are 1.2 miles away.
How many?
1.2 miles away. And I just did this. This is Northwest Expressway 44.
I got called and told there was an accident on May and 44.
About 2 miles from it, or a mile and a half, whatever. I mean,
you pull up satellite or the map, but like with a satellite view. South side of Interstate 44. I need a place to pull over on the south side, like a parking lot. But there's a Lowe's.
Very chilly out, and I would say on that drive north up to our location, I had to keep my defrost on because that freezing rain hitting the windshield was freezing, could affect visibility. So if you're out driving around, yes, you can get around, go very slow, and make sure your windows stay warm so that you're not having to try and look through ice or clear ice when you're driving. I've got a couple updates for everybody. I've been talking to Oklahoma City Fire Department this morning. They had 3 calls, 3 wrecks this morning, and total since the beginning of this storm, they're counting that from midnight last night, or yesterday evening, 19 wrecks total. They've responded to 4 structure fires and 400 calls overall. They said this is a slight increase, but really, you know, kudos to everybody who either closed down or stayed home, because they really haven't had to respond to as many people as maybe they could have if more people would have been out on the roads. EMSA saying a pretty similar message. EMSA has responded to 5 motor vehicle accidents this morning and 1 fall. So again, EMSA responding to people who are out and about, sliding around. This ground, like Mike was saying earlier, it's very slick. I mean, there's just a layer of ice or snow or sleet, something packed down on every surface that's walking around and driving. So definitely make sure you have extra time to get to wherever you're going this morning, and be very careful walking around. Live in Edmond, Augusta McDonald for Oklahoma Zone News 9.
From the Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Lacey Swope.
You know, she's really right. I mean, sometimes you just think, oh, just going out to the mailbox or out the front porch, trying to clear things off, that can be just as dangerous for folks.
Just as hazardous. Maybe you'd have been fine on the roadways, but walking around in these conditions, slips and falls, definitely a big concern. Our trackers have been out on the roadways. They've stepped out as well and said the same thing. Because of the freezing drizzle and freezing rain that we have seen, yes, an icy mess. Jeremy's been all over the Edmond area, and now, Jeromy, I know you're headed further to the southwest, headed to an accident. Give us an update.
Yeah, so Lacey, this is May Avenue, and you can see there is some melting. The roads are slushy, and really, you can go anywhere you want. If you take it slow, your drive will be a lot safer, and you're more likely to get there without an incident. Back to you, Lacey.
Great update there. We are starting to notice more slush and even wet roadways now that the sun is up. It's been up for 2 hours, and it's really going to work, even though we're cloudy. Let's go to Hank Brown. Hank, your road looks like it's improved significantly from what we were seeing earlier this morning. The drizzle's still coming down, but it's light. Tell us where you are, Hank.
Yeah, Lacey, so I'm on I-35 southbound, about 29th Street, and you're right. The sun UV rays absorbing into the ground, I think it's helping the salt and sand to actually do what the crews have been trying to get it. The side roads are...
Oh, I think we're losing Hank. Hank, there's something wrong with your audio there. Check it there. Something going on.
Sleet melting on the side roads.
Perfect. Sleet's melting on the side roads. We got it, Hank. We got your message. Thank you so much. Hank's been out for us since 4 o'clock in the morning. Of course, our entire team of trackers have been out with you through this event. Let's go further south now to Brandon Pennell. Brandon, folks are driving slow, but you're getting traction where you are. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, that's right. You know, you can get around, especially if you're in a four-wheel drive vehicle. Like, it's not really a big issue. One thing I will say, you know, as Hank was saying, that the main roads are starting to get a little bit of melting. But as you come in and out of your neighborhoods, if you have a rear-wheel drive vehicle, as you can see when I turn this corner here, you know, these roads have had no salt and no sand. So if you have any kind of an incline or whatever, it's still just as slick as can be. and you're going to struggle. Back to you.
Okay, great advice there. So getting, when you're on the main interstates and highways, it's good, but coming in and out of your neighborhood or even out of your front door to your front step, still use a lot of caution. Those rear wheel drives and the Tinker Diagonal get me every time, Brandon. I know exactly what's going on there. All right, it's tongue twister. Let's talk about the road conditions that we've got going on statewide. Enid, Ponca City, all the way up to Medford. You've had snow and sleet back down to Clinton and Sayre. Roads reporting slick and hazardous across much of Oklahoma. So if you're thinking, hey, I got to run an errand, head down to Ardmore, or from Ardmore to the city, you're going to be driving in slick and hazardous conditions. No real major snow totals out of this event. We told you this is more of a sleet and freezing rainstorm, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. It's a good idea since it's so stinking cold outside. Heather brought the kiddos inside, the sleet inside to them to have a little bit of fun. We love your pictures. Keep those coming. We'll be showing them throughout the day. Looking down from space, I'm showing you the cloud deck because there's sunshine in our panhandle and just across the border into Texas. And eventually this cloud deck works its way across Oklahoma. The precip comes to an end and the sunshine makes a return. We may see sunshine in the metro by late this evening. You can see the thunderstorms though with those taller clouds off towards the east. That's where we have convection. That's where we have higher rainfall rates and thunderstorms ongoing. And that's the back really edge of the heavy precip from wave number 2. This began around midnight last night, and we've had freezing drizzle and freezing rain across all of central Oklahoma since that time period. And it's still ongoing this morning. Augusta was reporting still getting ice on the windshield, still pretty difficult even with a defroster to keep up when you're traveling around. That drizzle is really letting up in intensity and really starting to wind down in North Edmond, back over along the Kilpatrick Turnpike, down to Yukon and Mustang. Light drizzle down to the south. And really the drizzle up north is letting up. The heaviest precip in the state is from Tahlequah to Eufaula down to Kiowa and the back edge now near Atoka. But on the backside, what you're not seeing on the broad view is that very fine drizzle and even a few snowflakes. And I think that continues through about noon today, off and on. Since midnight, it's been, well, freezing rain and drizzle, light freezing drizzle, and then light snow now through noon, and a few flurries into the afternoon with clearing skies overnight. Futurecast showing that all this winding down, coming to an end, and eventually the back edge of that cloud deck gets here, and we will start to dry things out. Temperatures are in the teens. And warming. We've got a slow warming trend on the way. There's our big storm system that's giving us the lift and giving us the energy for the winter storm that we've been dealing with. See the next wave coming in out of the northwest? That is going to give us a chance for a light wintry mix on your Saturday. Now, additional icing from between now and when the system ends in just the next few hours in Oklahoma City, a glaze. But you go further south and east, still looks like the ice storm is raging on, 1/4 inch to up to 1/2 inch of ice. As far as sleet, if we see any, it would be a trace at this point, mainly the drizzle to some light snow. And then in far eastern Oklahoma, a couple 1/10 inch to 1/2 inch of sleet. Snow, we've got the flurries, and that will continue, maybe up to a trace, a dusting, not a major deal. And look at the temps now, 18, 19, 20, 30 degrees in southeastern Oklahoma. Live wind gusts, they're a lot weaker than they were yesterday, 10 to 15 miles per hour, but it still feels like the single digits and low teens. So the freezing drizzle turns to some light snow, but winds down here in just the next couple of hours. This afternoon, maybe some flurries with temperatures in the 20s. Now, overnight with clear skies, single digits, pipe bursting temperatures, very cold. Tomorrow, 20s on the way. We get warmer and we will see 30s by Saturday afternoon after a light wintry mix, 50s by Sunday. And guys, there are 70s in here by next week. We're back with what caught my eye right after this. Stay with us.
Botox, eye transformations, how is social?
You just gotta hit record on that. Hey, can you hear me? Anybody? That don't look like an active scene being worked, but I did hold on a shot of that car. It's like an SUV. It looks like it spun around, maybe hit a rail and wound up going westbound. But there's nobody in it. There's no law enforcement here. tell you where we could go that'd be warm. We could drive down to Tombstone, Arizona and check that place out. Break out the horses and the 6-shooters and start a new life, huh?
Yep.
I can't believe how much them old guys got around.
On horses.
Yeah, on
Could
horses.
only do, what, 10, 15 miles a day?
I think you can actively travel 15 to 18 on horseback.
Yeah, but you're talking, 500 miles, 600 miles.
Oh, I know.
So you're just sleeping on the hard ground until you get there, kind of thing.
Those guys weren't wimps.
And trying to find food wherever you can.
Yeah, when they was doing that stuff, there was jaguars roaming them hills. Grizzly bears, the whole 9 yards.
very light drizzle southwest. Man, it was. Dunkin' Donuts makes a good croissant. Yes, ma'am. I'm like that too, though. I get cranky if I don't eat. That's just part of being a pawpaw, old age. Lacey, the highways are actually melting off. Most of them are slushy. On the side streets, there's some drive lanes, but most of them are packed sleet. But even in the drive lane, it is still, there's a glaze of frozen precip on it, ice or sleet or whatever it was that laid down the drizzle. So it's still pretty slick. You can see I kind of had some trouble getting started here. So just take it slow and easy and you can get to wherever you need to get. Back to you.
warming up with wave number 2, and it picked up. There were times we had freezing rain moving into the metro. We also had a little bit of snow out to the north, back to the north, up to the west as well, and a little bit of flurry action coming in right now out of the Texas Panhandle. May still get a few more flurries on the backside of this system. On Next Gen Live, this was blanketed with freezing drizzle and freezing rain early this morning. Now pretty dry from Guthrie to Cashin, Piedmont, down to Yukon. A little bit of flurry action mixing in with this, back down to Stella, back down to the Tinker Diagonal, and we're going to start to dry it out in northern Oklahoma shortly. The major portions of this winter storm are still raging on in far eastern Oklahoma. This is still definitely adding to the totals of the sleet and the freezing rain from Eufaula to Sallisaw, all the way down into southeastern Oklahoma. It's pretty heavy, and there's some lightning within that as well, so those rainfall rates are higher, and that's where the ice storm is still ongoing. We do have a little bit of drizzle and a few flurries from Freedom to Byron all the way back over to Cherokee. And what to expect for Oklahoma City now through since midnight, what's been happening is we've had the freezing drizzles. There's a glaze of ice on many areas, many surfaces. We've been talking about your front step. We showed the video earlier, and our reporters have been saying just getting out of your car and walking around, it's pretty difficult due to how slick everything is. The sleet really compacted overnight, and that drizzle on top of it just made it kind of treacherous. But now through noon, everything's really letting up. May have some flurries around this afternoon. Still slick spots on roads, but they will start to improve. You're still going to see sleet around on the grounds for at least a few more days. Tonight, when skies do clear out, we will have pipe bursting temperatures with single digits on the way. 18 degrees is our current temperature. It's in the single digits in our Panhandle. We've got 17 in Medford, 20 in Ardmore, 20s into eastern Oklahoma. We're warming up. Winds are out of the north. They're at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. We'll have a north breeze with us over through the day today and into tonight. Wind chill still a factor. It's still very cold. You still want to bundle up, layer up if you're heading out. Make sure you're prepared for a very cold afternoon. Highs make their way into the mid and upper 20s. Some 30s in western Oklahoma. And again, sunny skies for folks out west. When do we see sunshine here in the metro? How's it shaping up for your weekend? When do the 70s return? I have that for you in full weather.
Lacey, thanks so much. We've been monitoring the highways, now kind of getting a closer look at those streets inside the metro areas.
Let's check in with Caleb Califano. He's out and about. Caleb, where are you? How's it looking?
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we are in a neighborhood right off of 63rd, and we've been talking about really the city streets all morning and how there's different routes you can take. The problem is most people will have to get out of a neighborhood in the first place to get on those routes. And if you look here, you can see virtually all of them across the city are completely covered right now. And I know that Lacey was talking about how yesterday the sleet basically felt like sand if you picked it up. That's all compacted now. If you're going to a gas station or if you're getting out of your house, it is very, very slippery. So you definitely want to watch out, especially in these neighborhoods driving, because there are cars parked on the side of the road here. If you're not paying attention, if you're on your phone, anything like that, if you try to brake too fast, you are going to slide. So just stick with those roads, but definitely be careful and take it slow this morning if you're out on the roads. We're live in Oklahoma City. Caleb Califano, Oklahoma's own News 9.
Caleb, thanks so much. Let's see how we're doing across the metro. We've had a few wrecks out there. Here's Hannah Scholl with the update.
Yes, well, main highways are your best bet, but even then, there is still some ice out there. We have a major wreck on I-40 eastbound, and it is shut down due to a semi-crash at exit 108 if you take the exit towards Geary. So to get around this, you're going to need to take exit 108, and it's shut down for quite a while. So take exit 108 towards Geary, and then you're going to take Highway 66 to Highway 270 Calumet Road, and then you can hop back onto I-40 eastbound after that. But again, this is probably going to be shut down for quite a while, and a large stretch of roadway is also closed because of this accident. We have another accident in the metro, I-35 northbound at Northwest 12th Street. It's an accident involving a truck. It's moving really slow through there in Moore, so just be aware of that as well. So even though roads are improving, we're still seeing a lot of accidents pop up, so everyone still needs to go slow and pay attention. Put your phones down. We'll have more here on News 9.
Hannah, thank you so much. As we go to the break, black ice, the major story today. Slick roads, it may look dry. Do not increase your speed. We've seen it play out in crash after crash.
Again, take it extremely slow out there. Drive carefully. Look at our trackers already out and about. And Lacey Swope with more on your forecast. It's coming up. It causes some problems, but boy, is it beautiful.
No, we're not Val. Yeah, that's what happens when you're the pioneer. Lacey, I'm going to start moseying back towards my neck of the woods just because I have a meeting. Yeah, I mean, I'll be out for the next... Okay, that's good. I work. So even on the side streets where they've laid down salt and sand, it's starting to melt. I seen it with somebody that wanted to apply. I figured you were joking. Tell him, Jeromy. He was telling me
flyers today.
Yes, the best thing for individuals to do today is to check the Flight OKC website and look under the arrivals and the departures tab up at the top of the website. A lot of our morning flights have been canceled with airlines, but it looks like later this afternoon into the evening, they're going to start resuming their flights for later today.
And a lot of it really isn't what's going on in Oklahoma City. While we do have some inclement weather, it is kind of what is going on across other portions of the country as well.
Correct. So, you know, DFW is had winter weather just like we did. So trying to get those mainline flights out of those hub airports have been pretty difficult in other areas as well. So that's what caused some of the cancellations and delays.
Have you seen travelers mostly kind of already knew that this might be an issue? Are you seeing anyone stranded there at the airport?
We haven't had anybody stranded. I think everybody has done a great job, you know, listening to the news and checking the weather, and then, of course, staying on top of their flights. And the airlines have done a great job yesterday contacting passengers, too, and getting them rebooked for either later today or this weekend.
How are the runways looking out there at the airport?
Runways are actually looking good. Our maintenance staff has been out all day yesterday and through the night and this morning, making sure that they're cleared and they're safe enough for planes to land and take off.
Well, Stacey Ham, we appreciate all that you do and all that those crews do to keep those planes de-iced when we see weather like this so folks can travel safely. Thanks again for the update.
You're welcome. Thank you.
From the Bob Mills Weather Center, Oklahoma weather expert, Lacey Swope.
Kind of affects every area of life. You know, your kids in school, if you're trying to travel, trying to get to work, and it just can really clamp down on life.
Yes, trying to take your livestock, taking care of your pets, it just impedes everything, doesn't it? So many accidents this morning, guys, compared to yesterday. Thank you so much to our editors for putting this together, kind of a compilation of the different wrecks that we saw this morning, some of them significant. Of course, we've been checking in with Hannah about the accident on I-40 that's currently ongoing. This is a shot from a little bit earlier from Brandon, from Mustang, and no injuries within that. Let's go to our trackers now. Now roadways have really started to improve. Let's go first to Brandon Pennell. Brandon, you've been out and about kind of on the west sides of Moore. Give folks an update here at about 9:45 in the morning.
Yeah, Lacey, a lot of improvement since, earlier this morning when we had that heavy freezing drizzle come through. Pretty much one lane of all the side roads have been cleared, and, there's still slick spots, don't get me wrong. And the main roads are really clear, actually. But, the secondary roads into the neighborhoods, that's where your problems are going to be for the remainder of the day into the morning. Back to you.
All right, great update. Really, I think probably even into tonight, when we get back below freezing, any of the melting will refreeze on some of these secondary roads, and we'll have these problems probably for a couple of days off and on. Sleet takes quite a while to melt until you really get full sun. Heading in a little further to the north, Hank Brown's been out. He's been downtown. He's been on the north side, the south side. Hank, we're seeing a lot of melting now in your shot. Give us an update.
Yeah, Lacey, I'm on the south side, South May. And where it's been treated with salt and sand and plowed, you can see that it's melting and becomes slushy. So the side roads that have been treated are a lot like the highways. However, like Brandon said, the neighborhood streets are untreated roads. They're still sleet with a crust of ice glaze on top of them. Back to you.
Great update there. Thank you so much. We've had temperatures that are still in the teens. They're in the teens, but when you get the sun up in this time of year especially, you can already get the melting ongoing all the way through the cloud deck, and that's what's happening, and this will happen through the rest of the day today. Let's go a little further north to Jeromy. Jeromy, you've been on the north side from Edmond, now back down to the south. Give us an update where you're headed.
Yeah, so I'm headed eastbound on Northwest 23rd Street. I believe I'm coming up on Portland. You can see here that 23rd is fairly easy to travel. I am seeing still some people getting onto the main road struggling a little bit in two-wheel drives. But the biggest thing, if you go slow, you're going to be pretty well off this morning. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jeromy. Earlier this morning, our crews were all having to use their windshield wipers continuously, and even the windshield wipers and all the defrosting wasn't able to keep up with how heavy the precip was. We've seen a lot of improvement here over the last hour and a half. Let me take you now to the graphics and show you some of the pictures coming in and the reports coming in. We love seeing your updates. This is a picture from Jimmy Clark out in Elk City, out in Beckham County, checking the cattle overnight. Still had some mamas out there he had to check on, and you can see the snow kind of blanketing the area all the way into western Oklahoma. And then, of course, you get further towards central portions of the state where we had 1 to 2 inches of sleet. We've got these sleet mounds ongoing that'll be around for several days. Yesterday, that was coming out of the gutters, looking like rain, but no, it's ice. And so many folks said it looks like Dippin' Dots. Wonder if you could put some flavor on there. I think, Lacey, you should try that out. See if you can make some Dippin' Dots out of all that sleet. As we head into the next couple of days, the sleet that you're seeing here on the map is how much we picked up. It'll be around for a while. It'll melt, though, eventually tomorrow. A lot of melting, especially when we get the sunshine. 1 to 2 inches. Wave number 2 of the precip, the sleet was yesterday. That was wave 1. This morning, freezing drizzle, freezing rain, and now heavy freezing rain and sleet in eastern Oklahoma, but it's winding down. Still some very light drizzle down near Lake Thunderbird and in East Norman. Still some light drizzle, maybe even a few snow flurries around in the metro, but man, things have really dried out here in just the last 45 minutes or so. Still some flurries being reported up north and in western Oklahoma, and the heavy freezing rain and sleet with intense thunderstorms ongoing off to the east. That's a little snow mixing in up north. There, very thick cloud cover. Stratus deck is with us for now. But our temps are warming. It's 18 degrees right now. Far cry from where we were yesterday at this time. Teens and 20s, north winds at about 10 to 15. They'll hold steady through the day. Wind chills are in the single digits. Temperatures this afternoon into the 20s, and then watch what happens with future cast. This is the cloud cover, and it's breaking apart by 11. We're already seeing sunshine in the panhandle. Still getting some light freezing drizzle, and then freezing rain and sleet into southeastern Oklahoma for several more hours. It will continue into the early afternoon. and then the clearing line gets closer and closer to Oklahoma City. We may get some peeks of sunshine before sunset, but skies do clear out overnight. Still some flurries heading into the afternoon. So how much additional precip? We're pretty much done adding to what we've had. We've had a glaze to 1/10 of an inch overnight. Southeastern Oklahoma could still see up to 1/4 of an inch and even 1/2 of an inch in the far southeast. Sleet totals, again, if we see anything, a trace at best. Really, most of this is winding down and done as far as additional totals go. But in eastern Oklahoma, still picking up some sleet. Snow, the flurries, not going to be much heavier than flurries, and so a trace is what we're seeing on the snow totals. Here's the big storm system, the big trough. You can see the jet stream winds coming up over Oklahoma. As this scoots on by, skies will clear out, and we're watching this diving in from the Pacific Northwest, and that will impact your Saturday. More on that in a minute. Lows tonight, single digits and teens tomorrow. Here come the 30s across western Oklahoma, even the 40s. Now, where we have the sleet on the ground, it will take us just a bit to start to warm on up and get the Arctic air out of here. The energy from the sun will go into melting that sleet versus going into heating up the air temperature. So it'll take a little bit, but we will warm it up. Saturday, we'll have a chance for a light wintry mix, maybe some showers in southern Oklahoma. We do warm it up above freezing by the afternoon. 54 on Sunday, and then here come the 60s and 70s, mid-70s, guys, by this time next week. Back to you.
All right, Lace, look at this sorcery right here. A viewer sending us this video called the water bottle challenge. Water set outside, he gives it a quick shake.
And it freezes.
Turns to ice.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness, this is so cool. I've never heard of it before. Apparently it's a thing. One more time.
You shake
it's liquid, it's fine. Shakes it outside.
Super cool.
One more time. Bam. Boom. Frozen. Send us your videos, pics, and science experiments to pics@news9.net. Back after this.
It's crazy winter in Oklahoma.
Feels like -6.
Ice, but mainly sleet. It's just a giant mass of mess.
David Payne has the technology and the team to keep you ahead.
1,000,000 watts of power. The resolution is unprecedented.
And the entire News 9 team brings you unmatched coverage.
Has come down in buckets.
It is really slick and hazardous.
And only getting worse out there.
Get the advantage over our intense weather with locally owned Oklahoma's own News 9.
The Big Oklahoma Gun Show is back this weekend at the OKC Fairgrounds. Get bargain prices on guns, knives, ammo, military collectibles, and more. Call your hunting buddies and make plans to be at the Big Oklahoma Gun Show this weekend at the OKC Fairgrounds. Open Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4.
One of the great things about getting a tax refund is that you can use it to buy whatever you want. You deserve it. You worked hard, you paid your taxes, and now you get your reward of a tax refund. And at Joe Cooper's Easy Credit Auto, you can use your tax refund for a down payment, and we'll reward you by getting you as low as 5.9% financing with a warranty included.
If you've got a job and a small down payment, Joe Cooper's Easy Credit Auto will do everything they can to get you approved with our 5.9% in-house financing. You heard right. You can get as low as 5.9% with our in-house financing for unique credit situations. If traditional financing is not available, we can help. Finance with Joe Cooper's Easy Credit Auto, and we'll work with you to rebuild your credit while you're driving a nice car or truck.
Call, click, or come by, and Joe Cooper will make it fast, fun, and easy to get the car you want regardless of your credit. You can buy here and pay here. Who loves you, Oklahoma?
Are you a little bit country or a little bit rock and roll? Oklahoma Blood Institute and the National Cowboy and Western Heritage Museum are asking you to turn up the volume for local patients and donate blood. Each donor will receive their choice of
that many people. I'm wondering if everyone's kind of taking the day, taking a little snow days, hanging out at home with their family. That's probably a good idea because it's bitterly cold out here and the roads are definitely pretty slick. You can see everything's just frozen over this morning. That's really just a layer of ice over everything. That's kind of the story. That's what we're seeing as we step outside and walk around a little bit. It's not the fun snow that you get to pick up and play with. This is the frozen solid sleet. So just be careful if you do have to head out this morning. Take it slow, take it easy, and we'll be watching things all morning and all day long. Live this morning, Jordan Daphnis, Oklahoma's Own News 9.
Jordan, thank you. Stay weather aware throughout the day with the free News 9 app. Turn on the notifications to get updates sent straight to your cell phone for your specific area. Meanwhile, we'll keep you informed right here on News 9. Back after this.
Get your news earlier. Some of these storms are going to be strong or severe.